I think if you live an interesting life, you'll write very interesting stories, which is also the beautiful thing about creative life overall.
Learning can never stop. There is always something new, and I learn from my patients.
And each one of us will use that choice based on the use that you have to put the technology to.
The first film that made me sort of see how a human story and the layers of politics beneath. Panipat ka
style externally appear very successful and happy, but no one really knows what's happening within.
It is not going to kill the supply chain, it is to empower the supply chain. And I'm happy to announce that we are still very much in the pilot stage and beta testing is going on. We are gradually building up our presence little by little as people get more and more confident.
Because of the state of our cities, we have no option but to build smart and resilient cities.
Digital India is more for the poor, underprivileged, and the deprived.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome and a very good morning to all of you. My name is Aditya Malik, and it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome all of you. BW Security World, an exclusive security community of BW Businessworld, is pleased to welcome you all to day 2 of the inaugural edition of BW Security World Conclave and Excellence Awards 2023 to celebrate outstanding and exemplary achievements made by India's leading organizations and professionals in the security sector. The BW Security World Conclave and Excellence Awards 2023 acknowledges and commemorates the exceptional contribution made by individuals and entities within India's private security sector. Today, you will get insights on the possible developments and future of security from India's top experts in the field. With that, may I please request my team to play the community AV to give us a sneak peek into the world of BW Security World. The prestigious BW Security World Conclave and Excellence Awards 2023 brings together the fraternity of the security sector and provides a global platform for recognizing outstanding work in the field of security. And with that, BW Businessworld, led by Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, BW Businessworld and founder, Exchange for Media Group is the fastest growing business media house in the country. With a network spanning across 24 niche business communities and 8 magazines, BW Businessworld is proud to be entrenched in various verticals in the domestic as well as global business ecosystems. With changing times, BW now has a massive readership in the digital space as well. BW in its portfolio has 24 niche B2B communities that organize conferences and forums to facilitate interactions between sectoral business leaders and also create a conducive environment for collaboration. To keep yourself updated of all the developments, please subscribe to the Businessworld Group magazines. I promise you, it will add to your professional quest for knowledge and insights. For all our attendees today, there's also exciting offers. Our latest issue talks about India's most enterprising women leaders and also the change agents who are pushing technology forward. With that, may I please request my team to now show us the upcoming IP's video to give us a glimpse of what all can we expect in the coming months. Today's digital broadcast is being streamed live across all BW Businessworld platforms, including our social media channels and also on www.bwsecurityworld.com. As you flag off today's event, I encourage everybody to please join in the conversation and share your learnings from the day by using the hashtag BWSecurityWorldAwards. With that, may I now request my team to show us today's event TV. And before we move forward, I would take this moment to thank our partners for today. Our associate partners, CP Plus, our knowledge partners, GACS, CAPSI, Security Link India, our event partners, Joy Travels Private Limited, Fendrum, Beanley Coffee, JustBath.ai, The Thick Shake Factory, Reality Plus, Exchange for Media, IWM Buzz, Impact.com, and Pitch. Usually after this, we have a welcome address, which is of course done by Dr. Batra, but sir had to urgently take up an interview, which he couldn't say no to. He's on his way, I think another 3-4 minutes, but we shall begin with the proceedings and he shall join in and then of course take the stage and welcome all of you as well. So moving ahead with the first keynote session for the day on changing paradigms, traditional security to man-tech security solutions. And of course, I have an introduction to read out to you, which I shall with all my honor and grace. I shall first do that and then of course, call on the speaker for the same. The speaker, as we all know, for this keynote is Major Manjeet Rajayan, who's the founder and global chairman of the Tenon Group of Companies, a prominent provider of integrated security and facility management services operating in India, the UK, and Singapore. Established in 1995, this multinational conglomerate comprises of 3 global brands: Peregrine Guarding, Tenon FM, and Soteria. With a turnover exceeding 2,500 crores, a workforce of over 80,000 employees, 3,100 plus clients, and 78 plus offices across its global footprint. Major Rajayan received the Capsi Security Entrepreneur Award in 2008, the Security Leadership Award in 2012, the International Award for Excellence from the Institute of Economic Studies in September 2015 in Bangkok, the Global Achievers Award in 2016 in Dubai, and the 100 Greatest Leaders of Asia Awards in 2018. Major Rajayan is also the chairman of Redbird Aviation, also known as Redbird Flight Training Academy, India's first aviation academy, recognized and approved training partner by the National Skill Development Corporation. He's a member of various industry forums, such as the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, ACES International, Central Association of Private Security Industry, CAPSI, Overseas Security Advisor Council, and International Security League. Everybody, for the first keynote address, please join me in welcoming to the stage Major Manjeet Rajayan, founder and global chairman, Tenon Group of Companies.
Good morning, everybody, and Jai Hind. If you come to my company, whether it's in India or Singapore or UK, when you enter the reception, you will not be welcomed by the receptionist by saying good morning or good evening. They will say, Jai Hind, welcome to Tenon or Peregrine. And it took me a lot of effort to get this thing into the heads of the Britishers that you are now a British-owned company and you have to say Jai Hind. But I am very proud of it. In fact, all our communication globally is always ended with not by warm regards, and then it says Jai Hind with the Indian flag over there. So now the G20 is happening here. I'm very proud to share this little bit input with you. Genuinely, it's a great pleasure and privilege for me to be speaking to you, all of you here, industry leaders, very prominent people from the security community. I must thank Dr. Anurag Batra, who's a very dear friend, and I genuinely cherish that relationship. Anurag bhai, thank you for that lovely book. I finished it yesterday. He loves to give me books, which I really enjoy. So thank you very much to the chairman, founder, and editor-in-chief of BW Businessworld. It is genuinely always a privilege to attend any of his events, but this one is closer to my heart because I started my career in business as a security professional, and I've been doing that now for 29 years. So this one is really close to my heart. And I'm so happy that BW Businessworld has decided to launch this event and the magazine. I think it is literally like coming of age of an industry, maturing of the industry and coming of age. So my compliments to BW Businessworld and Dr. Batra for doing this event and launching this magazine. It's genuinely a great effort. Now, the topic on which I have been asked to speak is changing paradigms on from traditional to man technology or man IT or whatever we may call it, basically amalgamation of man and machine. Now, I don't, I'm not very good at technology. It has taken me a lot of time, a lot of effort. Probably everybody from my generation must have gone through it to get there. I'm still a little behind. So I won't say I'm IT illiterate. I'm semi-literate now. I can answer a mail. And some mails are actually quite easy to answer because all you have to say is yes, no, thank you, shut up, bullshit. It's easy to answer. But some mails are difficult because you have to write 2 lines. Then it becomes difficult. But I'll tell you how technology interested me. A very dear friend of mine, very much like Dr. Batra, presented me with a book about 4 years back. And those were COVID times. You read everything that you could get hold of because you had the time. You were sitting at home, and I did a lot of reading and actually a lot of knowledge building during that time. And this book was called The Unusual Billionaires. It was written by a gentleman called Saurabh Mukherjee. Very interesting book. I'm not into investing. I don't invest in shares. I'm not interested in other companies except my own. So really speaking, this book should not have interested me, but for thanks to COVID. So COVID did do some little good here and there. I read that book. And one of the things that really impressed me about the book was a story of a company called Asian Paints. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but what I learned was an eye-opener. In 1970s, when people like me definitely had not heard about computers, I think I can safely say a major part of our population in this country would not have heard about computers. Nobody used computers. And when you don't know computers, you definitely don't know supercomputers. Asian Paints was a company which in mid-70s imported a supercomputer and installed it in a city in Gujarat. Supercomputer. Government of India did not have a supercomputer, and only 13 nations in the world had supercomputers at that time. Asian Paints got a supercomputer, installed it there. What did they do with it? They changed the whole, the complete way they used to do their business. They started mapping everything, analyzing everything. They removed all distributors. They removed all middlemen. They decided to supply everything directly to their retailers. Instead of replenishing a particular retailer once in a week or once in a month or whatever, they started replenishing the paints at that retailer 6 times a day. They could predict with the analysis that they did that this particular retailer will need white paint 40 liters at 2 p.m. That is the way he normally consumes. So before 2 p.m., that white paint would reach there. The retailer did not have to stock it. He didn't have to worry about his supply lines. He did not have to invest money and keep it stuck when the stock was lying in his stores. I'm just giving you one small example of what they did with it. Of course, they did hundreds of things with that supercomputer, but this was just one of them. What happened? The valuation of that company, this book is all about valuation and shares and etc. The valuation of this company skyrocketed. It still is, continues to do. But what impressed me was, today when global giants in the paint industry, the Nerolacs of the world are here, Asian Paint still has a lion's share of the market and nobody has come even 40% close to them. So the next rival is 40% behind them, because they kept using this data they were collecting and analyzing it, and they kept upgrading it themselves. And I said, wow, this is what is called future. This is what is called looking into the future and saying, this is what we need to do. And that impressed me. I took that book, I gave it to my management team, I presented it to my board, and I said, guys, can we do something like this? It has taken us 4 years. Today, I can safely say, I'm no Asian Paints, but my company is way ahead on technology, and I will share some of the inputs that so I'm not going to tell you what is technology, how it is done, how much man tech has come in. I'm just trying to share with you how it can be used in our industry and what are the benefits, why it came about. So this is the story of the supercomputer, and this is what got me started. And today with, smart cities and use of technology and use of drones and whatnot, there is nothing where you don't hear about technology. We are surrounded by it. In fact, now we are getting more worried about technology, that the technology, like some of the movies, takes over our world and starts running our lives. That's the next danger that probably may happen. Now, the security industry in our country, as we all know, and you are all experts, so I don't need to, actually, whatever I'm saying is something that all of you know. I'm just putting it in perspective. It is growing at what, 20% CAGR? This is really a sunshine industry. Employs what, about 1 crore of people, maybe more? 1 crore people. Imagine what a large employer and what a large industry, 20% CAGR. But to maintain this space, to maintain this leadership position, to maintain this position of being a sunshine industry, we need to start thinking now and changing. And I think a lot of us are changing. It's not something that we are not. We need to innovate. We need to think differently. We need to create those what industry loves to call disruptors. Actually, they're not disruptors. I would rather call them enablers, because they make your life better. Uber made my life better. It didn't disrupt my life. It may have disrupted the industry. Technology is changing traditional security, and it is changing it in a big way. It is having a profound effect, and the transformation is for all of us there to see. We originally used to have a security guard with a baton, and we got used to seeing a guy with a baton. That was a security guard. That changed probably 15 years back, or maybe 18 years back. Today, we are used to seeing a guy with a metal detector. You must have seen today when you entered the property, he was doing this little scan on you. I don't know how effective it was, but he was doing it. We have door frame metal detectors and lots of access control systems. This is the technology we are now kind of used to. Jaise the way we were used to a baton earlier, now we are used to seeing this little bit of use of technology. But we have to understand that the boundaries are constantly changing, and we need to step into those boundaries to be able to understand what is the next step we need to change. It is an evolutionary process, and we are probably at the beginning of that evolution, not even like somewhere in the middle. We are just in the beginning where the security industry is concerned. There are other industries which are probably in the second generation. We are probably in our nascent stage right now. I think we all owe it to ourselves and to the industry which has brought us here to really take us to the next level. Historically, our industry, as we have, I love to say, Dr. Vikram Singh is here, and I love to say that Kumar Vikram Singh ji is the Bhisham Pitama of the industry. I'm sure he'll agree with me that our industry all along has been highly fragmented, and a part of it has been the unorganized sector. So let's say hypothetically, and I'm not sure, I'm not making a claim, but I think there are about 15,000 plus companies in the country. Sorry, 30,000 companies. A large part of it are organized, which are getting organized, I must say, and the government has done its part, CAPC has done its part. They are getting pushed, and organized sector is growing, but there still are. But we are highly fragmented. And therein lies an opportunity for technology to be brought in, even whether it's a small company or big company, it doesn't matter. But we have to understand a large workforce, a high growth rate, a highly fragmented industry, and some unorganized sector becoming organized. And we are still stuck with basic equipment, maybe a door frame metal detector, or a handheld metal detector, or access control. Now, why do we need technology at all? I think the first very, very basic thing, everything revolves around one thing, paisa. We need technology for a very simple reason. In the last few years, the minimum wages of the security personnel has more than doubled in some places. No company, no industry has that kind of bandwidth to keep stretching its security budget to that level. So what happens? The commercial guy calls us, or the security head or director calls us and says, reduce the cost. I remember those very, very good times. And I'm sure my seniors would remember even better times when you used to get 15% margin or more. I remember the very good times when you used to get 10% margin and we used to go home jumping happy, 10% margin will get. And then it kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Today, we are at a pathetic state where the industry has been highly commoditized. And what you are offered is 300 rupees per guard per month. What a pathetic state to be in. But it is not the fault of the client. I would never blame a client on that, because the client has his own problems. He's being constantly pressurized to reduce the cost. I think where we have reached today is rock bottom. You can't reduce the cost of delivering security services any further. Therefore, need to innovate, therefore need to bring technology, therefore need to use technology to reduce the cost and yet be able to deliver conclusive, holistic security solutions. And that would need, of course, standardization, optimization of the resources, whatever we have. The second part is the security demand is still going up. The gap between the haves and have-nots is growing. Not just in India, it's growing globally. We are in a unique country where when the minimum wages go up, you are bound by law to pass on that minimum wages to the client. The client is bound by law to give it to you. I mean, we operate in UK where if the rate goes up, doesn't matter. The client has already decided the rate on day one. That is what he pays you. There is no change. But on the other side, in those countries, the rates of the wages differ due to in relation to the place where you're operating. It is there in India also. In a state you may have 3 different minimum wages for a big city, small city, medium city. But that rate is not based on realistic things. The realistic thing is the cost of living. So, like in London, we have what is called the London living wage. It is calculated how much would it cost a person to live comfortably or sustain comfortably in living in the city. In India, we are, it's a good part for us, it's a bad part for us that our minimum wage the client has to give us. And because the client is now duty bound to give it to us, he has to stretch his budget. So, and on the other side, the demand for security is growing because crime rate is growing. The gap between have and have-nots is growing. So look at I'm just trying to paint a picture for you of what is the scenario. The third thing is why we need technology is the industry is changing. From input driven, it has become output driven. I remember a time when you wanted to, if you went to a client, the client would sit with you, probably the security manager or whoever, and you would both agree how many people you needed. It was number of people and he paid you by number of people. Some places, even if you didn't need a guard and he thought a uniformed person needed to stand there because it was part of the reception scenario, you had to give a guard. It had nothing to do with security. It had more to do with prestige or presentation. Today, it is changing. It is changing from input driven to output driven. Now the client says, this is my premises, this is my property. You have to secure it. You decide how many people you want to put on it. You just give me a number. That is the amount of money that I need to pay you. It has not happened everywhere, and I wish it happens everywhere. And I really hope it does, because that gives these security companies the latitude to work really as security companies professionally and do best what they are best equipped to do, to decide what is required. So this is another thing which is pushing technology, because if it becomes output driven, then you are yourself incentivized to use more technology to reduce your cost and increase your profits. Basically, you deliver on outcomes. And in this, then comes the next part. You are able to use various things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, etc., etc. Now, we have tested this model post, our thoughts 4 years back, 5 years back, no, I think about 6 years back. We started a company called Soteria. It's a technology company. We sell technology, we deliver technology, we do remote monitoring. I'm just using an example. And we monitor today through Soteria about 3,500 client locations where we monitor more than 1,75,000 sensors per day. Now, it's a very interesting thing. I was being told by my technology head that we do more than, Sid, how many transactions per minute? So 300 transactions per minute, which means 300 times a minute, our system talks to the client system and the client system responds. And we are building a capability of taking it to 10,000 transactions a minute. What has it delivered for us? And by the way, all this is real time. It is not something that will happen in the future. This has resulted in a 20% reduction in people at all client sites wherever we are doing this. And it has resulted in better results because everything that is being done is being verified through technology. The next part, why it is important to have technology with in the security industry is return on investments. Now, all along, ages back, we always were a sore point for any client, which means we were a cost. Nobody thought that security was really there was some profit out of it. We all knew it then, but we could never really put it in the right measurable terms. Security today is seen as a profit center by a lot of clients, and you are able to, using technology, able to demonstrate in a measurable way what is the result that we deliver, what is the return on investment. How much would the client lose on a theft, on a fire incident, on a shutdown, on whatever, and you are able to measure it. What is the loss the client would have incurred, which technology and security put together deliver. So the return on investment is an interesting term which every company loves to see. Every CFO wants to see the return on investment. If I'm going to put X amount of money on my security services, what do I get in return? It also does a lot of very interesting things. It reduces downtime. It also creates a lot of loyalty. Think about it. You walk into this hotel like you walked in today. The guard at the gate, the moment you look at him, says, "Hello, Mr. X, how are you, sir? Please come." How does he know me? He knows me because there's a facial recognition software he's got. The moment that system saw your face, it put up a name and the guard knew this is Mr. So-and-so. You don't have to go to the reception. You don't have to go through a check-in process. Everything is picked up at the gate by just looking at your face, and you walk up straight to your room. Creates loyalty, creates a lot of comfort. You don't have to go through a lot of nonsense. Why do I need to be checked every time at the gate? If I have come to this hotel 3 times a week, 3 times a week, they will check me. Why? If the system recognizes me and the system tells the guard at the gate that this is a known entity, you don't have to worry about him, then I can walk straight in. All this can be achieved through use of technology. I'll use another example from our company, Soteria. We have a gold loan customer who has millions of sites. I don't know how many sites that guy has. And they use our technology-driven solution as a pivot. Everything revolves around it. We do surveillance. We have created SOPs, and those SOPs are fed into the system. The system actually monitors those SOPs without human intervention. One-time passwords are created without you having to ask. The system by itself generates it, and the moment a vault has to be opened, the system comes up, it switches on, starts recording. If that vault has to be closed back in, let's say, 10 minutes time, is not closed in 10 minutes, the alarm goes off. Everything pivots around technology delivered by Soteria, and it ensures a seamless, secure and efficient delivery of that service. Also, it is as foolproof as possible. COVID, of course, was a catalyst for us, all of us. It had a lot of bad things that happened to the world, but COVID really pushed technology. I think it gave a generational leap. We moved ahead as an industry by at least 4 to 6 years because of the push that we got during COVID. There was a surge. I mean, a lot of things were shut down. Retail was shut down. Malls were shut down. But there was a surge in manufacturing. You needed technology to monitor that. I think we leapfrogged at least 4 to 6 years. That's my personal thought. Remote monitoring actually came of age during COVID. So basically, there are a lot of benefits through use of technology. It gives you a seamless working solution. It streamlines the SOPs. It ensures that you are able to implement your SOPs efficiently. It ensures optimal resource management. It does man management. And most importantly, it will also do quality control. CCTV, of course, is a great enabler. I can probably talk whole day about the advantages of using CCTVs. And that CCTV actually becomes the soldier in front, which does all the effort. And then you have everything backed by it, which is whether it's machine learning or it's artificial intelligence or analytics or whatever you want to do with it. There is a technology park in South India that I visited. It's really, really advanced. Everything in that technology park, it's away from the big city, and it's a complete fenced-off place. Everything over there ran on technology, whether it was traffic management in that place, parking. The moment you entered, they told you where to park. Then there was a lighted system which showed your car the way where you needed to go to park. It gave you access. It ensured nobody was doing wrong side driving or speeding. Everything in that property that I saw, and I visited it myself, was completely seamless and driven through technology. Imagine the amount of manpower it saved. Imagine the amount of efficiency it brought in. And of course, productivity tracking. Everybody wants to track productivity. And I must share this with you. It's a very interesting thing. Post my reading that book, Unusual Billionaires, we started implementing a lot of things in technology. I'm sure a lot of you must be doing exactly the same. So we recruit our people, onboard our people using technology. We train our people using technology. We monitor them at site using technology. We do their attendance using technology because everybody has a phone and that phone is geo-tagged and the client site is geo-fenced. The moment the guy enters, he doesn't have to sign anywhere or put his thumb anywhere. His attendance is automatically marked. The client also knows that attendance is marked. If there is a shortage, the message goes automatically that there was a shortage and somebody can take action. The salary and wages of that guy is automatically delivered. If the guy is sitting in one place for 1 hour and he was supposed to take a round, after 1 hour, the system sends him an SMS to say you were supposed to start moving. Why aren't you moving? And if he still does not move, a message goes to his supervisor to tell him your guy is not moving. And all this, by the way, is being shared with the client, which creates a huge environment of transparency where the client has this comfort with you. You don't have to go out to the client at the end of the month with a bill to say, please check my attendance, because the attendance was going to the client every day and that client was aware of what are the shortcomings. If a guy was sleeping at night and did not move, the client knew about it. So we have 80,000 plus employees. Every single employee is geo-tagged. We have 1,500 plus unbilled people. Each one of them is geo-tagged. When my field officer goes out, or a field operator goes out into the field, and if he's, let's say, passing a client location, he gets a message to say, that's a client you need to visit. By the way, how many visits are needed to be done at a particular client premises is also part of the SOP, which is fed in. So if his visit is due, he will be told by his system, you need to visit. He visits the client. Before he enters the client site, he gets a message which tells him how many guards are there, what is the name of the supervisor. Think about it. The field operative enters and says, Uday Singh, how are you? Uday Singh, the supervisor, feels very good that my boss came to visit me. He knew my name. Then the system also tells him what was the minutes of the meeting of the last visit that he had done. What did the client say? What actions have been taken? That comes up on his phone. He doesn't have to remember it. He doesn't have to look through his notes. He goes, meets the client. By the way, he also gets told how much collection he has to do from that client so that paise bhi le le. So he does the meeting. He comes out. The system again asks him 4 or 5 questions. What are the points of the meeting? What action is required? What is the timeline? He's supposed to feed it there and then. He feeds it. Message goes to the client, message goes to his boss, which means minutes of the meeting are done. Now all the action points are there, and that he will be reminded of the action points by the system so that he ensures he completes them. If he does not complete them, again a message goes to his superior. Just think what it does. And by the way, end of the day, same day, that guy gets his travel allowance credited to him on the day itself based on the mileage he has covered, which the system picked up because he's geotagged and we know how many kilometers he's traveled during the day. Just think how much comfort it brings, what efficiency it brings, what productivity it brings to us. We did a little analysis on this. Of course, client satisfaction has gone up tremendously, but we have reduced about 25% of our workforce, the unbilled part, and we obviously increased our profits because of this. Not to forget having very happy clients. I will not take you to drones as yet because so far drones are quite limited because there is a regulation which came out in 2022. I know a lot about drones and I can again talk a lot about it because I carry out a drone training program in one of my other companies and we train nearly 8,000 drone pilots a year. But I'll not bore you with that. Essentially, drones are also the future. It can do the work of many people. It can do things which, so think about it, a very small example, a car is speeding. The drone has a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. The car has a speed of 100 kilometers an hour. And the car is speeding and you want to track it. To track it, the drone does not need to increase its speed. It only has to increase its height and you still monitor it. Think about the uses in security. So far, it's being used only by security forces or police departments for traffic management or crowd management. I mean, as of today, because of the G20 summit, there are hundreds and hundreds of drones that are up in the air all over Delhi, and they save you a heck of a lot of money instead of flying choppers or something. You just got drones over there. So drones are a very, very big thing, but not yet that much in use in our industry. But that is the future, and we need to start thinking about it, of how to amalgamate inputs from drone into our systems. One more thing which I must, I'd be failing in my duty if I don't tell you, don't warn you about it, is the Data Protection Act of 2023. It's a very, very serious act. With CCTVs, with access control, with geotagging, you get a huge amount of information. The government has laid out very, very strict guidelines. And right now, it's not being implemented even 10%. But think about it, when all that implementation happens, you will have to be very, very sure of how secure your data is, how you keep that data, how you use that data. And if it gets misused, the penalties are really, really high. So data protection is something we all need to start thinking when we start implementing technology. To conclude, the facts are very simple. It's the writing on the wall. Is there nothing that I can tell you or look into a bowl and say, oh my God, this is what is going to happen and Chandrayaan aayega, nahi aayega. But I am telling you this, technology is here to stay. It is a great advantage. We as the industry owe it to ourselves and to the people we work with to bring it up in a big way. One of the things which all of us will have to do is train our people to ensure that they are employable at a higher level. This will, if it, on one hand, it will reduce people that we deploy on client sites, it will also increase the wages of the people who are on the ground because they'll be better trained, they'll be enablers, they'll be technology trained. So my advice is, please adopt it if you've not. I'm sure all of you already have. I would be failing in my duty if I don't thank BW Businessworld for having me here. Thank Dr. Batra, my dear friend, for inviting me. I would like to congratulate all the winners of the Excellence Awards for the functions today. My congratulations to all of them. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity of being here. And I'm not very good at Shero Shairi, but I loved this one, so I wanted to share it with you. इस मोड़ पर न घबरा कर थम जाएं आप, जो बात नई है उसे अपनाएं आप। डरते हैं क्यों नई राह पर चलने से, हम आगे आगे चलते हैं, साथ साथ आए आप। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू। एंड इससे पहले हम अपने अगले कीनोट सेशन की ओर बढ़ें, Dr. Batra, as you had mentioned that once we will of course invite him to formally welcome all of you and also set the context. So please join me in welcoming on stage Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, BW Businessworld and Founder, Exchange for Media Group. Sir.
You know, I don't like lying. So I did sleep very late last night and woke up very late. I left my home at 9:55 in DEF call, and then the usual India Gate G20 drill in the hotel. That's how I got late. So I know you tried to help me, but that's the honest thing I like. And then I couldn't find my specs, so I took an alternate specs 3-4 minutes. But I am here, and that's what matters. Harshji there, and I told Harshji that we should start. So thank you, Prajayan Saab, for giving us such a good overview of the security services and professional outsourced services industry. I am happy that Kuwar Vikram Singh ji is here, and as he said, you are the Bhishma Pitama. Retired नहीं हो रहे अभी ये, अभी ये retired नहीं हो रहे, अभी तो बहुत साल काम करना है इनको. I don't want to stay between you and his address, but I just want to say that I watch a lot of movies, I read a lot of books. One of my favorite movies, Top Gun. Though it should be your favorite movie, giving your flamboyance. But when you were talking about how technologies, I'm in the media business, and we are thinking how AI will impact our business, because basic content can be generated. So do we really need journalists? What is the role? What is the cost? And imagine the world of AI and quantum computing coming together, what is possible. But there's a dialogue in Top Gun. And, I may not get it right verbatim, but basically Tom Cruise says, it's not the machine, it's the man that counts. And, I think the more technology comes, the value of human beings will only go up. The value of the insights, the emotion, the wisdom to be able to take the right decision will only go up. And of course, AI will gallop in the way it, gathers capability to do more things. So I just want to say that I was thinking, because Kuwar Vikram Singh ji, over the last 10 years, 12 years that I've interacted, Harshi introduced me to you first time. You always talked about the employment of guards and their respect, right? So I'm sure it'll be man and machine. It'll be the guard in technology. And I'm sure at some stage clients will, because of your bringing in technology, pay you a little more, which may not come from guarding. I don't know your business that well, but I'm just thinking that the combo may actually fetch you more margin and better service to the clients if you could showcase that value. And I'm sure you are all individually as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs are doing that. I just want to say that in the evening, we are our first edition of the BW Security World Award. The former governor, Shri Shekhar Dutt ji, was our jury chair. And the winners will be awarded in the evening. We'll award one awardee just now in some time, because the awardee is not available in the evening, and he has a commitment which he must keep. So I just want to say thank you for being here. We've got the ball rolling in this domain for a long time. In COVID, we wanted to do this. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for your patronage. I just want to end by saying that India is at a very interesting crossroads where it is growing. We're getting more and more organized. And really, I think every domain and subdomain is growing. And I was thinking while you were speaking, you talked about return on capital. I was there for 95% of the address. I got a call, so I went out that it's an era where drone companies are doing IPOs. space companies are slating to do IPOs after. When will large professional outsourced service providers, of which security services is a very large part, guarding is a part, when will companies like yours and other players in this business start doing IPOs? Because really, if you bring all of what you're doing together, because you're using drones, you explained to me that day. And so I think the next 3 to 6 years, we'll see some of you building companies that will be IPOable, that will create wealth, and that will create large companies out of India which can go global. So I want to leave it there and welcome all of you to the first edition of the BW Security World. My apologies for being late, but I'll be here whole day and I'll be looking forward to interact with you. Harshji, Mohit and Shilpa are here. It's their domain, and we at BW Businessworld as a team are happy to support them. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And now moving on with the next keynote session on standardization of service delivery. And to deliver the same, please join me in welcoming on stage Kumar Vikram Singh, Chairman, CAPC.
इतना काम कर रहे हैं और आप ताली नहीं बजा रहे, बताइए तो। सारे देश को हम प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं and we also protect our motherland. That's very important. और आज का विषय भी आपका है how you secure your nation. और इस सारी चीज में जिस ढंग से आप लोगों का योगदान है, I represent all of you. 30,000 agencies, 1 crore security guards, growing. ये सब आप लोग हैं। मैं धन्यवादी हूँ बत्रा जी का कि आपने मुझे बुलाया है, बड़ा लॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप है और आज का दिन तो बहुत बढ़िया भाई। सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मैं आप लोगों को अपना असली नाम बता दूं। मेरा नाम है भीष्म पितामह। अब ये सुन के मैं परेशान हो गया। आज सुबह भी मंजीत मुझे इंट्रोड्यूस कर रही, ये हमारे भीष्म पितामह है। अब मुझे नहीं समझ लगता कि मैं भीष्म पितामह कैसे लगता हूं। और काफी देर से पैसे खर्च के अपने बाल काले करता था। और आज मैंने 2 दिन से सोच लिया था, मैं क्या आज मैंने बाल काले नहीं करने हैं, जितने पिछले हफ्ते हो गए। मूछें भी नहीं करनी, आप वाइट देखते हो ना आ रही हैं, क्योंकि कभी तो मैं भीष्म पितामह लगूं। नहीं, अब मैं बंदोबस्त करो ना इसका भी। भीष्म पितामह ने भी अरेंजमेंट कर रखा था। अब जब ये मुझे भीष्म पितामह कहते तो मैंने इनको कहा, मैं कहा भाई यार कोई अच्छा नाम दे दो मुझे। कभी भीष्म पितामह को आपने खुश देखा था? अरे पुत्र क्यों मुझे मार रहे हो? बात क्यों नहीं मानते हो? मैं बड़ा दुखी हूं, हे भगवान तुम ही कुछ बताइए। वो बेचारा हमेशा दुखी रहा। Have I ever seen him smiling? भीष्म पितामह कैसे स्माइल करे थी, उसकी कोई बात भी नहीं मानता था। जबरदस्ती उसको साले युद्ध में ले जाते थे, कहते मार उसको। और किसके हाथों मरवा दिया? शिखंडी के, बताइए तो। ये सारे के सारे षड्यंत्रकारी हैं। और आज सुबह मंजीत को कहा, मैं कहा पहली तो बात है जी आपने मुझे भीष्म पितामह की तो 100 तीर पीठ पे लगा था। सो रहा था, लेटा बेचारा परेशान चीखे मार रहा था, तो गर्दन उसके पीछे थी। तो इतने में अर्जुन आए, तो अर्जुन जी ने भी अपना धनुष चढ़ाया और भीष्म पितामह ने देखा ऐसे लेटे लेटे, वो कहता है अर्जुन तुम भी, यू टू। अब उसने तीर मारा तो उसने उनके सिर के नीचे मारा। वो कहता नहीं पितामह, मैं तो आपके लिए सराहना बना रहा हूं ताकि आपका सिर ऊंचा रहे। और ये साथियों बड़ी खुशी की बात है जब मंजीत जैसे लोग भी अपना तीर चलाते मेरा सिर ऊंचा करने के लिए। बड़ी लंबी दास्तान है भीष्म पितामह की। कोई मुझे कृष्ण नहीं बोलता, भाई तुम सांवले रंग के हो, बुद्धिमान भी हो, सुदर्शन चक्र चलाते रहते हो अपना पूरे देश में, सरकारों को भी ठीक रखते हो, अंतरराष्ट्रीय भी रखते हो, बुद्धिमान हो, सांवला रंग भी है, हिंदी भी आती है, घर में गाय भी है, एक रुक्मिणी भी है, 2 राधा भी रखी हुई है। अब कृष्ण कोई नहीं बोलता, भाई तुम हमारे कृष्ण हो। अब भीष्म पितामह सब मुझे कैसा क्या कहते हैं, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता इसके बारे में। अब जो हो गया तो भुगतेंगे जी। साथियों अब ऐसा है कि सिक्योरिटी में जितना कुछ आपने देख लिया कि कितना बड़ा काम कैप्सी ने और आप सब लोगों ने दुनिया भर में किया। जितने लोगों को आपने यहाँ देखा, जितने नंबर्स देखे, वे रिसर्च्ड हैं जी। और भारत सरकार भी जब उनको वीडियो दिखाएगा दे वर सरप्राइज्ड। इतने हॉस्पिटलों को कर रहे हो जी आप, इतनी फैक्ट्री कर रहे हो, इतना कुछ कर रहे हो, सारे देश में आप फैले हुए हो और आप ही लोग सब हो जिनके उद्यम से, जितने ज्ञान से, जितने एक्सपीरियंस से हम इस देश को अंदर से सिक्योर कर रहे हैं। बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है आप सब लोगों की कि किस ढंग से आप कर रहे हो। क्या ग्रोथ है मंजीत जैन की, देखिए जरा कहां से शुरू होके कहां से पहुंच जाना। पूरे दुनिया में आप जे हेलीकॉप्टर की भी ट्रेनिंग, ड्रोन की भी ट्रेनिंग, नेवर थॉट दैट मैन वाज अ टैंक मैन। अब इतनी अच्छी ग्रोथ कर देना, अपने बच्चों की उसी ढंग से ले जाना। ऐसी और बड़ी कंपनियां जिनकी मैं ग्रोथ देखता हूं और बड़े अच्छे ढंग से जा रहे हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जा रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं। साथियों फ्यूचर बहुत ब्राइट है इस इंडस्ट्री का। एंड लास्ट पे कहा वी आर द गार्ड्समैन टू द नेशन। हम हैं देश की रक्षा करने वाले अंदर के लोग। फौज तो बाहर लगी हुई है, वो तो है ही आपके, लेकिन किस ढंग से आप इस देश को सुरक्षित कर रहे हो, एक एक चीज की जानकारी जो मंजीत जी ने दी है, कैसे हम ट्रैक कर लेते हैं, क्या कर लेते हैं, हमने तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं था। अब जब हमने किया था, आई नो आई वॉज द फर्स्ट पर्सन हु वॉज हायर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया as a consultant for the 9th Asian Game 1980। पूरे देश में एक सिक्योरिटी कंसल्टेंट नहीं था, पूरे देश में। पुलिस वाले तो थे, लेकिन दे वर नॉट कंसल्टेंट्स, उनको इवेंट सिक्योरिटी का नहीं पता था। वो सबसे बड़ी इवेंट इंडिया में हो रही थी, एशियन गेम्स। तो प्रीतम सिंह भिंडर जहां हुआ करते थे, ही वॉज ए पुलिस कमिश्नर, मेरे जिले गुरदासपुर से थे वो। उन्होंने, मिसेस गांधी वॉज ए प्राइम मिनिस्टर, उनको उन्होंने कहा भी एक व्यक्ति है भाई, वो इवेंट सिक्योरिटी के ऊपर 2 जगह में उसको सुना विदेश में। अब उन दोनों में विदेश जाना बड़ी बात होती थी। कहा मैंने उनको सुना इवेंट सिक्योरिटी बोलता है, तो मेरे लिए नई बात थी। तो आप उसको कहीं ना कहीं साथ रख ही लीजिए, हम तो हैं ही, हम मैनेज कर लेंगे, लेकिन इवेंट सिक्योरिटी क्या होती है, इवेंट हो रहा है। उन्होंने कहा जी चलो ठीक है, मुझे इस आदमी से मिला दो। तो भिंडर जी along with the chief architect of 9th Asian Games, Mr. Sharad Das, a very eminent architect, ये दोनों मुझे प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी को मिलने के लिए ले। जब गए अंदर तो मेरा तो शक्ल देख के इंदिरा गांधी को गुस्सा ही आ गया। वही गुस्सा आ गया उसको देख के, अरे भाई ये आप किसको ले आए हो? कहते यही है जी कैप्टन विक्रम सिंह। अरे भाई आप बोलते कि इससे मैं अपनी सिक्योरिटी इवेंट की कराऊंगा। सब बड़े हैरान हो गए, भाई हुआ क्या है जी, कहाँ इस विक्रम सिंह ने पंगा लिया होगा इस लेडी के साथ कि इतनी दुखी नजर आई, देख के गुस्सा आ गया। तो वो कहते मैडम कि हुआ क्या है? कहते इससे पूछिए। अब मैंने कभी उनको बताया नहीं, तो मैं जाने से पहले बताता भी ये अड़ब सी लेडी है, पंगा पड़ जाएगा मेरा इसके साथ, हमारे गांव की रहने वाली है, जो कुछ बोलता था उनको मैं। तो मैंने कहा जी ऐसी बात तो कुछ भी नहीं जो मैंने कुछ किया हो, आप इतने नाराज हो रहे हो। और कहते नहीं, कहते ये आदमी हफ्ते में 2 दिन मेरे घर के बाहर खड़ा होके मुझे गालियां देता है, मुझे चैलेंज करता है। आप सारे परेशान हो गए। मैंने कहा जी मैडम आप इतना भी मत कहिए कि मैं इतनी गालियां देता हूं। अब देखो तब कह रहा ना मैं गालियां देता हूं। उन दिनों में मैं जनता पार्टी जो नेशनल पार्टी थी उसकी नेशनल यूथ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का ऑल इंडिया जनरल सेक्रेटरी था। आई वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ द जेपी मूवमेंट। जनता पार्टी आई, यूथ मूवमेंट में रहा और उसका जनरल सेक्रेटरी था। और प्रधानमंत्री के घर, अनुराग बत्रा जी को पता होगा, पहले एक मेथी चौक हुआ करता था, आपको नहीं पता। प्रधानमंत्री के घर के पास एक मेथी चौक था और जितने डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन आप यहां देखते हो 3 जंतर मंतर पे, ये सारे के सारे पहले मेथी चौक में हुआ करता। इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 500 yards away from the Prime Minister house. There was no security issues at that time. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी। और मैं एज ए जनरल सेक्रेटरी उससे जाके इनकलाब जिंदाबाद करना, और उसको सब पता होता था क्योंकि उनका जो सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर उनके साथ बैठता था मार्कंडे सिंह जी, जो बाद में दिल्ली के गवर्नर बन गए थे, वो चंद्रशेखर जी के भी क्लासमेट हुआ करते, तो उनको बता दो देखो ये लगा हुआ गालियां निकालने की। तो मुझे कहा, मैं कहा मैडम मैंने आपको जिंदगी में कभी गाली नहीं निकाली है, मैं फौजी, मैं आपकी इज्जत करता हूं, आज तक कभी नहीं गाली निकाली। यू आर ए वंडरफुल लेडी, यू आर अ ग्रेट लीडर, लेकिन आई अपोज योर पॉलिसीज। आप इस देश को बर्बाद करने के लिए कई ऐसे काम करती हो जिसका मैं विरोध करूंगा। कहते लुक एट हिम, Look at his telling me in front of me. मैं कही मैं हूं ना, मेरा वो काम है, लेकिन don't mix my this political commitment and work with my security professionals. मैं इस काम को जानता हूं, अगर आपको मेरे पे विश्वास है तो मुझे आप रख लीजिए, नहीं तो कोई बात नहीं। आप बोलो इसको बोलो कि वो मुझे गालियां ना निकाले। मैंने कहा मैंने आपको कोई गाली निकाली नहीं आज तक, मैं आपकी पॉलिसी का विरोध करता हूं, जो पॉलिसी में जानता हूं देश के लिए कहीं सही नहीं है। इस सारे बावजूद उस लेडी ने, गॉड ब्लेस द सोल, she appointed me as the sole security consultant of the 9th Asian Game. Ladies and gentlemen, जितने आप स्टेडियम देख रहे होगे इस वक्त, और इतने अच्छे ढंग की सिक्योरिटी की, एक भी बिल्डिंग को आज तक नुकसान नहीं हुआ, सब स्टैंडर्ड मटेरियल यूज नहीं करने दिया, A क्लास इंटेलिजेंस रखी वहां पे, एक इंसिडेंट नहीं हुआ, completely 9th Asian Game, if you remember. So this is how we plan things. It requires your mindset, your commitment, your honesty, and how you plan it. ये इतना बड़ा जो कैप्सी बन गया था, कितनी लंबी कहानी इसको बनाने में है। सारी कंपनियों को इकट्ठा करना निरंतर, जब मैं वो संघर्ष देखता हूं सारे का सारा, तो कई बार लगता है यार हो सकता है मैं भीष्म पितामह ही होऊंगा। इतना कुछ, इतनी यात्रा करने के बाद साथियों हम यहाँ पहुंचे, तो मेरा जो सब्जेक्ट है स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन का, मैं वही आपसे बात करना चाहता हूं। मंजीत ने भी कहा कि अब हम लोगों को ट्रेन करें, ट्रेन करने के साथ अगर आपको गुड क्वालिटी ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग्स चाहिए, उसके बगैर आप प्रोटेक्ट नहीं कर पाओगे, चाहे जितने मर्जी कैमरा लगा लीजिए, जितने मर्जी मशीन से लगा लीजिए। जो अपने बत्रा जी ने कहा, इज अ मैन बिहाइंड द मशीन, आप उसको निपुण करना पड़ेगा। कल का आपका सेशन मैं फोन के देख रहा था, मजा आ रहा था लोगों की बातें सुन के, कहां कहां फौज के इतने अच्छे अच्छे ऑफिसर्स हैं, वो किस ढंग की बातें कर रहे थे सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड, टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर, इंटेलिजेंस के ऊपर, ऑल ऑफिसर्स आर फीलिंग प्राउड ऑफ इट। हम फौजी ने कभी सोचा नहीं था ये भी काम हमें करना पड़ेगा। The country is grateful, should be grateful that you have such a high quality of intelligent people from the army now looking after internal security. सब निपुण हो गए हैं, कोई सीसीपी है, कोई क्या है, सर्टिफिकेशन हो रही है, दिन रात हो रही है, एडवांस कर रहे हैं। वो तभी हो पाएगा अगर कर्नल साहब के नीचे आपके लोग भी उसी ढंग के ट्रेंड होंगे। There is nothing known as a cheap and best security. अब उसके स्टैंडर्ड आपको बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे। ये देख रहे हो ना जी, कैप्सी सर्टिफाइड कंपनी, ये हमारा तीसरा स्टेप है। लगातार जिस ढंग से हम लोगों ने प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी रेगुलेशन एक्ट बनवाया, इसमें भी हम ही लोगों का योगदान रहा कि एक्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा बनना चाहिए। फिर उस एक्ट को हमने कंफर्टेबल करने के लिए अपनी इंडस्ट्री के लिए, कि पहली बार ही ना पूरी गाज गिर जाए कि पूरी इंडस्ट्री खराब हो जाए, वी मेड सर्टेन कंसेशंस। फिर स्लोली उसको हम लोगों ने उसके अमेंडमेंट्स किए टू मेक श्योर दैट इज ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस। बड़ा संघर्ष उसमें, सरकार से अमेंडमेंट करवाना बड़ा मुश्किल काम है। पहले तो पार्लियामेंट चलती नहीं है, उसमें अमेंडमेंट कौन लेके आएगा, लेकिन हम लोगों ने इसमें सब कुछ काम किया। और जिस ढंग से इसको स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन का प्रोसेस हमने किया, पहले तो कैप्सी ने किया, उसके बाद वी ज्वाइन हैंड्स विद क्वालिटी काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया। क्वालिटी काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया एंड कैप्सी ने मिलके स्टार रेटिंग शुरू किया। सी द प्रोसेस वी फॉलोड। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द एजेंसी शुड बी स्टार रेटेड। जब एजेंसी स्टार रेटेड होगी तो उसके अंदर पूछा जाएगा भी आपके लोग भी ट्रेंड है जी नहीं, आपके सिस्टम इंफॉर्मेशन के ठीक लगा रखे हैं, मैनेजमेंट के सिस्टम आपके पास है, रिक्रूटमेंट कैसा है, फाइनेंस कैसे करते हो। तो स्टार रेटिंग का काम किया, 2 साल हमें लग गए इसको लाने में। एंड दिस वाज ऑफिशियली लॉन्च्ड बाय द कॉमर्स सेक्रेटरी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एट बॉम्बे। ये कितनी बड़ी एक उपलब्धि हुई कि स्टार रेटिंग की थी। अब स्टार रेटिंग तो हो गई, लेकिन कोई भी सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी स्टार रेटिंग में जाने को तैयार नहीं थे। अब उनको अंदर तो पता था कि मैंने तो बोर्ड तो लगा रखा 5 स्टार का, लेकिन है वो शेरे पंजाब ढाबा है, सब शेरे पंजाब ढाबा वाले थे। अब उनको कहे भी तो शेरे पंजाब से स्टार रेटिंग ले ले। अरे भाई मैं तो, मेरा तो इमेज 5 स्टार का है, तो मैं तो 2 स्टार कैसे लूंगा, मेरी खराब हो जाएगी। अब उनको ये चिंता होगी भी ये इतना बड़ा जो नाम बना रखा कंपनी का, कंपनी तो जैसे नथु की है वैसे फतू की है। तो उनको फिर कोई भी तैयार नहीं हुआ। आज तक सिर्फ 3 कंपनी है जिन्होंने स्टार रेटिंग ली है, वो भी 2 स्टार रेटिंग, क्योंकि 5 स्टार वाले डरते हैं कि यार हम फेल ना हो जाए, हमारा ये करना पड़ेगा वो करना पड़ेगा, पैसे बन जाएंगे। कईयों को यही चिंता थी जी वो स्टार रेटिंग का जो पैसा हो लाख रुपए लगता हो, लाख रुपया हम कैसे दें। को सिर्फ पैसे बनाने की आदत पड़ी हुई थी, सिर्फ पैसे बनाने की आदत पड़ी थी, पैसे को इन्वेस्ट करने की नहीं थी। अब चीजें चेंज हो रही हैं, अब इन्वेस्टमेंट होनी शुरू हो गई। तो जब स्टार रेटिंग हो गई तो उसके बाद हमारा सेकंड स्टेप हुआ दैट वी वेंट टू द गवर्नमेंट एज दिस इज टाइम, देयर इज इंटरनेशनल मार्केट। पूरा जो यूरोप है वो एजिंग हो गया, बूढ़े हो गए, उनके पास सिक्योरिटी गार्ड ही नहीं। अमेरिका में सिक्योरिटी गार्ड नहीं है, कनाडा में सिक्योरिटी गार्ड नहीं है, यूरोप में तो है ही नहीं जी, आपका गल्फ कंट्री है नहीं। लाखों लोगों की जरूरत है, लेकिन अगर आप लाखों लोगों की जरूरत है तो कैसे गार्ड भेजेंगे? वो आप लटूरी तो नहीं भेज सकते गार्ड को। यू हैव टू ट्रेन एज पर द इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड, एज पर ISO 17888। या किसी को पता ही नहीं था भी ये स्टैंडर्ड को हम कैसे लेके आएंगे जी, क्या क्या करना पड़ेगा। और उसके बीच में ये जो स्टार रेटिंग और साथ में जो आपका जो हमारा सर्टिफिकेट, उससे पहले सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर स्किल डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल बनाई गई थी गवर्नमेंट, जिसका मैं चेयरमैन था। हमारे CEO जनरल चैल हुआ करते थे, मेजर जनरल जम्बाल थे, मेजर जनरल गोत्रा थे, मेजर जनरल मजूमदार थे, 3-4 कर्नल साहब थे, ब्रिगेडियर साहब थे, और इतने फौजी इकट्ठे हुए थे। तो वो यहाँ NDMC क्या वो NSDC, वो कहते जी कुंवर विक्रम सिंह ने तो आर्मी हेडक्वार्टर बना रखा है। वहां जाओ तो सारे ऐसे पूरे के पूरे। और हम लोगों ने मिलकर रिकॉर्ड टाइम में, आई फील प्राउड ऑफ इट, कि हमने नेशनल ऑक्यूपेशन स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाए फॉर 9th जॉब रोल्स। आर यू अवेयर ऑफ इट? यू मे नॉट बी अवेयर ऑफ इट, ऑल ऑफ यू। First time in the world we created national occupation standard for 9 job roles. मेरा काम था आपके लिए एक बिल्डिंग खड़ी करना, उसके ऊपर अलग अलग फ्लोर बनाते जाना, और जब कन्वीनियंस होगी, जब आप उसको अफोर्ड कर पाओगे तो आप उस फ्लोर में जाके रह लेना। समय आएगा, अब आने होगा, शुरू हो गया। नेशनल ऑक्यूपेशन स्टैंडर्ड बन गए, स्टार रेटिंग बन गई, और किसी सेक्टर में ऐसा हुआ नहीं है। अब आ गया सरकार का दूसरा रोल। अब यहां तो सरकारी डंडे से सब कुछ करता, अगर पसारा ना बना होता तो जो आप सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी की हालत देख रहे ऐसी सब रहती। वो सारे के सारे लाल किले के सामने खाकी वर्दी मिलती थी, वो लेके आते पहनाते, यहाँ S लिखा होता तो गार्ड होते। लेकिन अब सारी चीजें चेंज हो रही। अब हमने BIS के पास गए, हम नहीं गए, BIS ने हमें बुलाया, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि अब हर सेक्टर के ऊपर स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होगा। हर मिनिस्ट्री को ऑर्डर हो गया, इंक्लूडिंग द होम मिनिस्ट्री, कि स्टैंडर्डाइज करो। तो स्टैंडर्डाइज का जिम्मा किसका है? दैट इज BIS, ब्यूरो ऑफ इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स। उन्होंने हमें बुलाया कि हम सिक्योरिटी में स्टैंडर्डाइज करने चाहते हैं, आप इसके स्टैंडर्ड बनाइए। कितनी बड़ी बात हुई। और उन्होंने उस पैनल का मुझे चेयरमैन बनाया, और मैंने अपने साथ कोई 25 लोगों की टीम तैयार की। वो सिर्फ प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी से नहीं थे, वो एंड यूजर भी थे, फेडरेशन के लोग थे, फौज के लोग थे, सब लोगों को, एसिस के लोगों को लिया गया। ये सारे लोग लिए जो स्टेक होल्डर हैं, कि आप बैठ के अपने स्टैंडर्ड बनाइए। और स्टैंडर्ड का बेस हमने वो ही रखा 17888, जो इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड है। जब इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड आप बना दोगे, यहाँ पे आपका हर गार्ड सर्टिफाइड होगा, ऑफिसर सर्टिफाइड होगा, इमेजिन आपके पास कितनी ग्रोथ की अपॉर्चुनिटी होगी विदेश में जाने के लिए। आप छोटी कंपनियां भूल जाओगे, तो तब होगा अगर आप उसको लागू करोगे। तो उसके लिए इंस्टीट्यूट चाहिए होंगे, उसके लिए ये BIS वाली एक्सरसाइज आपको बताऊं पूरी हो चुकी है। जब BIS की एक्सरसाइज पूरी हो गई, अब उसके बाद क्या हुआ जी, बात तो पैसे पे आ जाती है कि हम तो जी जहां तो मर्सिडीज लेके आ गए हैं, यहाँ तो उसका कोई खरीदार ही नहीं है, ये सब साइकिल चलाने वाले लोग हैं और आप बेच रहे हो ऐसी एक्सपेंसिव कार। ऐसी परसेप्शन हमेशा, चीप एंड बेस्ट, लोएस्ट, L1, उसको तोड़ने के लिए फिर हमने लगातार कोशिश की। सरकार के साथ इतना लॉबी हुआ कि इस माइंडसेट से आप बाहर निकलिए कि ये L1 छोड़िए, दुनिया में कहीं भी चीप एंड बेस्ट सिक्योरिटी नहीं होती है, इसमें इन्वेस्ट करे सरकार भी, हम भी करें। अब सरकार, क्योंकि 80% बिजनेस सिक्योरिटी का सरकार के पास है, PSUs, और वही 0% पे, और जो 0% पे लेते हैं लोग वो ले लेते हैं। अब 0% पे आप कैसे भाई साहब काम कर सकते हो? 2% तो इनकम टैक्स वहां कट जाता है, तो 0% से 2% ये गया, फिर ESI, PF, ये दूसरा। अब वो क्या करें जी? अब यहाँ पे 200 गार्ड लगने हैं, वहां पे 125 लगाते थे, बाकी आपस में बांट लो। और जे मैंने पिछली कॉन्फ्रेंस में 4 मंत्रियों के सामने कहा, मैं क्या, देखिए आप 0% पे काम देश भर में कर रहे हो, आप प्रधानमंत्री के बरखिलाफ जा रहे हो। जहां तो प्रधानमंत्री कह रहे हैं कि मैंने भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत बनाना है, और प्रधानमंत्री के जितने PSU है वो तो करप्शन के गढ़ हैं, सारा करप्शन हो रहा वहां पे। उसका असर ये हुआ कि उस कॉन्फ्रेंस के 7वें दिन भारत सरकार ने घोषणा कर दी कि 0% इज गॉन। अब जितने भी PSU के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होंगे उसको 3.58 to 7%, इट इज अनथिंकेबल लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, कि 0% से उन्होंने कहा कि हम आपको 3.58 अप टू 7% देंगे। जुबिलेशन, सब खुश हो गए। आधे तो इसलिए खुश हो गए कि वो 0% में काम कर रहे थे, उनको 3.58 मिल जाएगा। करोड़ों रुपए लोगों को मिल गया, एक रात लॉटरी निकल गई। और जितनी लॉटरी निकलती है कैप्सी को चुन्नी देना उनको प्रॉब्लम पड़ती है। तो वो एकदम हो गया। जब वो हो गया तो जेम के लोग जो थे उन्होंने हमें बुलाया, उनके साथ 2 साल से काम चल रहा था। वी वर वर्किंग वेरी हार्ड, लेट मी टेल यू, वी हैव ए रिसर्च ब्यूरो इन कैप्सी जो काम करता रहता है चीज के ऊपर। 2-3 साल से हम जेम के साथ काम कर रहे थे, आप स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन लाइए, आप रूल लाइए, आप ये सब कुछ करते हो। कहते भैया कैसे करें, आप हमें बताओ तो सही। कम से कम 40-50 मीटिंग हुआ होगी विद द जेम टॉप ऑफिशियल्स, पीछे तक रिसर्च वर्क, उनको हमने मैकेनिज्म बताया। नॉट ओनली दैट, वी क्रिएटेड ए प्रोक्योरमेंट मैनुअल, a procurement manual in collaboration with COSS. COSS is a confederation of European security services, which represent almost all European countries' security associations. उनके साथ मिलकर कैप्सी ने एक प्रोक्योरमेंट मैनुअल बनाया टू गिव इट टू द PSUs पीपल, उनके अफसरों को और जेम को, कि आपने अगर किसी सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी को सिलेक्ट करना है तो दिस इज द वे यू शुड सेग्रीगेट एंड सेलेक्ट वन. For companies needing not very strong security, star 2, star 3. जो कंपनी ज्यादा चाहती सिक्योरिटी है, कोई ऐसी चीज है, वहां star 5 चाहिए हुए, तो इस ढंग से सिलेक्शन करो. एंड दे वर सो ग्रेटफुल. भी ऐसा मैनुअल कैप्सी ने बना के दे दिया. जब वो मैनुअल दे दिया है, वो मैनुअल हम आप लोगों को भी भेजेंगे, जितने कॉर्पोरेट सिक्योरिटी के CS हो. यू शुड ऑल्सो लर्न हाउ टू डू इट, एंड यू ऑल्सो हैव टू चेंज द माइंडसेट. कि आप कैसे माइंडसेट करोगे. अब कह रहे कि 400 रुपए पर गार्ड ले लो जी. मेरे जैसा आदमी 15% पे काम करता था, 15% 3 महीने का एडवांस लेता था सिक्योरिटी में, और मोबिलाइजेशन मंजीत को पकड़ा, मोबिलाइजेशन मनी, मोबिलाइजेशन अमाउंट कि मैंने गार्ड इकट्ठे करने हैं तो मुझे 70,000 रुपए दे दो। आप सोच सकते हैं आज के दिन में आप हमारी पॉकेट से ले जाते हो, मोबिलाइजेशन अमाउंट मिलता था। करते करते ये हालत होगी, विदेशी कंपनी के लोग कुछ आए जिनके पॉकेट भरे हुए थे, उन्होंने उधार देना शुरू कर दिया। 1 महीने का उधार, 2 महीने के उधार। अब कौन उधार देगा? 3 महीने का। छोटी कंपनियां तो बंद ही हो गई। मेरे जैसे आदमी ने काम छोड़ दिया, कहां से उधार देंगे जी? लेकिन अब सब चीजें आप लोगों को भी सोचनी पड़ेगी। अगर आप इतनी क्वालिटी की बात कर रहे हो तो काइंडली स्टार्ट asking for better trained, standardized people. Now we have, now Mercedes and Rolls Royce are being sold in India. If you're looking for something good, you have it. आपकी सपोर्ट चाहिए, आपकी हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए, आपकी पार्टनरशिप चाहिए। अब वो बातें कम करो कि आपको बजट कम करना। सिक्योरिटी में बजट काम नहीं हो सकता। पार्लियामेंट में बजट पेश होता है, सबसे पहले डिफेंस का बजट देखते हैं, देश कैसे सुरक्षा रहेगा। और आपने सुरक्षा करनी, अब चौनी ठानी के ऊपर कैसे करोगे मुझे बताइए? 400 रुपए का गार्ड ले लो जी, परसेंटेज खत्म हो गई। और कंपनियां कर रही हैं, वो जो कर रही हैं वो आपका नुकसान कर रही हैं। और फिर करप्शन वाली बातें, इवन आई एम सॉरी टू से कॉर्पोरेट्स भी लोग लेन देन करने लगे। कैसे कल्चर लाओगे आप अपना ऑनेस्टी वाला, जब आपके लोग ही खुद पैसा खाने लगे? वैसे तो देश का हालत ही खराब होती रहती है, करप्शन। लेकिन हम करप्शन नहीं कर सकते भाई साहब। लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, सिक्योरिटी में आदर यू आर सिक्योरिटी और यू आर थीफ। बीच की लाइन थिन भी नहीं है कि आप उसमें थोड़ी सी बेईमानी कर पाओ। अगर आप सिक्योरिटी में है तो सिक्योरिटी आपके कैरेक्टर में नजर आनी चाहिए, आपकी डीलिंग में। तो वो एक कल्चर लाने की बात हो रही है। ये जो अभी हमारी नेक्स्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस जो गांधीनगर में हो रही है, उसका मेन टॉपिक है इवॉल्विंग नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कल्चर। अब हम पूरे देश में कैप्सी एक मूवमेंट चलाने लगी है कि किस ढंग से हम कल्चर ऐसा क्रिएट करें सिक्योरिटी का। यू हैव ए मच लार्जर ग्रेटर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ऑल ऑफ यू। आई एम टेलिंग, इसके ऊपर सोचना शुरू करिए किस ढंग से। जो हमने सारा कुछ, ये 3 चीजें आपने लाई है। अब आपको जितनी भी पीएसयू की कंपनियां हैं वो कहती जी कैप्सी सर्टिफाइड होना चाहिए। कभी किसी ने सोचा था? हमने नहीं सोचा था। अब उन्होंने इसके 10 पॉइंट रख दिए हैं। एक है आईएसओ समथिंग, उसका 1 पॉइंट। एक और मुश्किल सा आईएसओ है, उसके 2 पॉइंट। कैप्सी सर्टिफिकेशन के 10 पॉइंट। सी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इमेज वी हैव क्रिएटेड, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वैल्यू वी हैव क्रिएटेड, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ट्रस्ट वी हैव क्रिएटेड कि आपको 10 नंबर दे रहे हैं। तो उस 10 नंबर लेने के लिए आपकी कंपनी को कैप्सी सर्टिफाइड होना है। ये वर्ल्ड में पहली बार हो रहा, किसी एसोसिएशन ने आज तक नहीं किया। और वो आपको कोई इतनी जबरदस्त सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं है, सिंपल पसारा कंप्लायंट, लिटिल प्लस। कम से कम पसारा लाइसेंस मिला हुआ है, जहां 50,000 रुपए दे दो पसारा लाइसेंस ले लो। रिन्यू कराना हो तो 2.5 लाख दे दो। ऐसी चीजें बनी हुई सिक्योरिटी में। तो हम चाहते अगर कल्चर लाना है तो आपकी कंप्लायंस सिर्फ पसारा को ही कर दो, और थोड़ा सा ज्यादा, हम ज्यादा भी नहीं करेंगे। लेकिन आप सबसे भी मेरा निवेदन है कि जब आप कोई कंपनी अब हायर करो, आप उससे पूछो आर यू सर्टिफाइड बाय कैप्सी, यू हैव दिस थिंग विद यू। आप उसी को रखिए। अगर वो कंपनी आप हायर करोगे, आप मान के चलना जिस ढंग का ऑडिट हमारा हो रहा है उसमें कंपनी टोटली कंप्लायंट होगी। उसका ट्रेनिंग भी होगा, उसमें फ्रॉड नहीं होगा, उसके सिस्टम उनके अच्छे होंगे, रिक्रूटमेंट अच्छा होगा, एचआर अच्छा होगा, मैनेजमेंट अच्छी होगी। उसकी कंपनी को आप हायर करना शुरू करोगे, so you will be contributing for the growth. You will be contributing for bringing better quality, transparency, honesty, trust. यही हम लोग हैं, और क्या है? यही हम कहते हैं, you trust me. तो ये सारी बातें जो ये 3 चीजें मैंने आपको बताई हैं, ये अब आ गई हैं। आप इसका साथ दीजिए, ये आपको खुश करेगी, आपकी सिक्योर करेगी। और जिस ढंग से जो आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव है कंपनी को, चाहे मैनटेक या दूसरा भी है, लेकिन मेक श्योर दैट यू फॉलो सर्टेन स्टैंडर्ड्स, आवर स्टैंडर्ड्स। नाउ अभी तो कैप्सिका हुआ है, मे बी द नेक्स्ट 2 months the government of India will going to announce the BIS standards. फाइनल हो गया। जिस दिन BIS स्टैंडर्ड हो गया उस दिन आपको फिर BS स्टैंडर्ड के रेट भी मिलेंगे, PSU को देने पड़ेंगे उस ढंग के, क्योंकि उसकी पूरी तैयारी हमने कर ली है प्रिक्योरमेंट प्रोसेसेस की। I'll be sharing that process। आपके सबके पास जो चाहिए होगा वो हमारे पास रिक्वेस्ट भेजे, chairman@capsi.in, सिंपल एड्रेस, आप भेज दोगे, हम आपको मैनुअल भी भेज देंगे, हम आपकी पूरी मदद करेंगे that you become a good company and you also be part of the guardsmen to the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Rag. Thank you, everybody, for calling me. Need your support, need your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that, for your address. And इससे पहले हम आगे बढ़े towards the first panel discussion. We have a very special moment to celebrate. We have an award to present, an award to a man who, of course, first dared to dream, then also had the vision to succeed, and is finally making it there, but not just for himself, but for many, many more people, also inspiring them. And he's making sure inspiration also put to use. Uska bahut logo ko fayda bhi ho. To us, to the nation, to the globe as well, I feel, personally. And of course, to present this award, I would request Dr. Anurag Batra, Kuvar Vikram Singh ji, and Harsh Vardhan Singh to please join us on stage. Aye. So this is a Lifetime Achievement Award. And once we call on the recipient of the same, I request you, आपकी जो तालियां हैं वो उसी औहदे से बजाइएगा, क्योंकि ये किसी के पूरे जिंदगी का सफर है जो we are celebrating. And it's an honor and a privilege to present this Lifetime Achievement Award to Major Manjeet Rajayan, the founder and global chairman of Tenon Group of Companies.
Shri Manjeet Rajayan ji, a standing ovation. Also, they say sitting is the new smoking, so standing may be also good for your health for a few moments. Please give him a bigger round of applause.
A Lifetime Achievement Award being presented to Major Manjeet Rajayan. So though we've had, of course, a few words to me from the session, but for this, please.
Please, gentlemen, ladies, please sit. I'm truly, really humbled by this great honor. मैं बहुत साल से कोई अवार्ड फंक्शन में जाता था या टीवी पे कोई अवार्ड फंक्शन देखता था, तो वहां पे एक लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड जरूर होता था एंड वो नॉर्मली एंड में आता था. मैं तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई एम हैविंग टू लीव, सो मेरे को शुरू में मिल गया है. बट आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज थिंक कि यार इस आदमी ने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी इस ट्रेड में या इस प्रोफेशन में या इसमें लगा दी. हाउ वुड ही बी फीलिंग आफ्टर ऑल दिस? Today I know it. So you actually feel so this award is it's like a dream, something that we thought kabhi main bhi us level pe jaunga when I will have a lifetime of achievement of what I've done. So today I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Anurag Batra. Anurag bhai, thank you very much. ये आपने सबसे बड़ा ऑनर मुझे दिया, and it was a greater privilege to receive it from all three of you, from Kunwar Vikram Singh ji and there's my friend Harsh. Yeah, so it's such a privilege and to receive it in front of all of you. But I would be not doing my duty if I don't thank every member of Peregrine and Tenon team who has stood by me, who's walked the entire walk with me. लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट किसी एक आदमी की नहीं होती है, उसमें बहुत लोगों की हिस्सेदारी होती है. आई थिंक योर फैमिली, इन माय केस माय वाइफ एंड माय सन्स, people who actually I learned from. Brigadier Broy, हमारे vice chairman, he's the man who taught me when I was a second lieutenant, and today he's here with us when I'm receiving this award. So all the team members who supported me, all my family supported me. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, all the members of Peregrine and Tenon. And Anurag bhai, thank you so much for this great honor. I'm truly humbled. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. And with that, it's time for a first panel discussion of the day. On a secure nation, real-time action. And while they're setting up the stage, I shall introduce the panelists to you. Colonel Shakti Rana, Head, Personnel Security Global, Nokia. Amit Kulkarni, EVP, Allied Digital Services Limited. And this session will be chaired by Major General Dr. Pawan Anand, AVSM retired Director, MIGS Global Consulting, and Distinguished Fellow, USI of India. Please. Yes, sir, please. Everybody wants for a panelist and a moderator for this session. Are you?
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's really been an honor to listen to some of the real stalwarts of the industry. And one feels so humbled to be able to come up on stage and to be able to speak to them. Vikram Singh ji, Anurag, Batraji, and of course, Mr. Manjeet Rajan. It's also fantastic. There are so many military men here that it almost feels you're back into a regimental gathering. And those of us who are not from the military have become military in their thought processes, including the ladies here, if I may say so. So the topic that we have today is interesting enough at a broad level. And of course, it will get a little more focused with the gentlemen that we have up on the stage. But let me start with a few opening comments. So we all keep saying that India is a rising global power. It's also becoming a market of preference in the global economy. We have the third largest military, one of the most powerful worldwide, with a limited overseas capability as well, which we always seem to play down. Our economy is the fifth largest economy. We've crossed the UK now. And by about 2027, maybe 2030, definitely, we are going to be the third largest economy globally. We have a huge population base, which has seen increasing levels of prosperity. We've all seen it in our lifetimes. We, as children, would go to school on a cycle. Maybe we would walk to school. Our grandparents actually walked miles to a school. Our children today don't even want to bus it to school. We cannot deny that we have become so much a prosperous nation. And our youth have become hugely aspirational. Are we more secure though? Well, yes, because we have prospered, we can say that we have been secure. That's what I feel. But what has made us more secure? I think there are four major components broadly that made India and us more secure. The first, of course, is military capability. So we say that traditionally our borders have been secure. Our internal security situation has become much better. We can do business together. So militarily, we remain sovereign and our borders are protected. Our internal security is strong. The second aspect is there are certain sets of norms, national and international norms. And Vikram Singh ji so nicely brought out the various standards that have come in everywhere. So there's norms are being adhered to, things are getting systematized. Then meeting our security challenges, everybody understands that. And finally, the bedrock of it all, at the end of it, is the economy, a developing economy. So these are the broad parameters on which we can feel that we are becoming a more secure nation. Is India safe? Well, the Global Peace Index ranks say that India is not so safe. And I always take it with a handful of salt. These Pew ratings, and I know that Manjeet ji, I just saw flashed over there, has got a award from the Institute for Economics and Peace as well. The Institute for Economics and Peace puts us at 126 out of 163. And I still don't believe them. There are other rankings which put us below Pakistan when it comes to safety. So we have to take it with many handfuls of salt. These are all fixed rankings. India today has become territorially secure, sovereign. There is law and order. There is rule of law. But security has become multidimensional and we all know it. Social and economic fabric is now so well knitted that we are able to carry out our business and our daily affairs with so much more comfort. Cybersecurity makes sure digital India is safe. Each person in this hall is contributing to national security in his or her own way. So with these brief thoughts, let me just bring in the two main speakers of this panel. Colonel Shakti Rana, who's the head personnel security global of Nokia, himself a sage by thought. He has a decade of experience in corporate world in risk management, crisis management, and business continuity. His current job involves security planning for field operations globally in high-risk countries and remote areas, incident management programs, overall enterprise risk management. And then we have with us Amit Kulkarni, who is the Executive Vice President and Head Cybersecurity Business of Allied Digital Services. He's earlier worked with SecureView, Netcom, and TCS. So we have two very, very qualified people with us to speak. As for myself, I served in the Corps of Engineers for 36 years after I did my NDA and IMA, where I secured top honors. Some of you are aware, Mayank is there. I did my combat stints. I've also worked in infrastructure since I'm an engineer. So I worked with the military engineering services on a very broad front of activities, starting from basic infrastructure like roads, residential accommodation, right up to extending the runway at Loegaon Airport, making a hoverport for the hovercraft of the Coast Guard at Okha, things like that, airfields. But then thereafter, one has done doctorate in management. I've been the Secretary General of the Highway Operators Association of India. And now at the USI also, I have been in some track 1.5s with some countries, namely Korea, was in Moscow some couple of months back for a BRICS dialogue and some closed door meetings. And I'm the director at MIGS Global Consulting Limited. Let me now have the earlier comments coming in from Shakti Rana, and then we'll go over to Amit Kulkarni, and we'll take the dialogue further from there. Your opening comments, please.
Hello. Thank you, General Anand, for the introduction. And thank you, BW Security World, for inviting me to this August gathering. I've been witness to the proceedings yesterday, very impressed with the content which we have planned for these 2 days. And I'm glad that I would be able to contribute towards today's topic. You would have heard about the strategic scenario from Jalpanu yesterday, which some people had, as they said, had goosebumps when they heard it. I also had it. So the thing is that we have this, the security at the borders, which primarily is done by the security forces, the Army, the BSF, the Coast Guards. Then you have the ITBP personals, and you have the CRPF and all. So they are the ones who are actually giving us that umbrella of security where we sit here in peace and have our businesses running and enjoy life the way we are. The second part, which is the internal security, is primarily the job of the police forces. And when there is a scarcity of the police forces, they are actually, supported by, again, the paramilitary forces, the CISF, again, the CAPF, the other paramilitary forces. And when things get out of hand, the Army is also called in for the internal security duties. Now, where do we as corporate security fit into the scheme of things? That is primarily the topic which we have today. And one and all who are sitting here need to contribute towards that part where we can help in the nation building in form of security, which we talk. It was today, in fact, I was mulling on this point for the last about a week or so, when this G20 preparations are going on. It was actually saddening for me personally to see that Delhi would be under lockdown for the next week and today also we had problems. Why have we reached that situation is because we as a country have failed to secure our cities. We have failed to have that infrastructure which gives us that confidence that while the army is guarding us at the borders, the police force is basically doing the law and order. We find ourselves at threat, internal threats. And this is where you as security professionals need to contribute and start working. First is the mindset. The mindset which I see now, as I said, this G20 summit, a lockdown. One can't imagine such a thing happening, but we keep referring to the COVID-19 situation. It was not thinkable that a city could be locked down for 3 days for an event like this. But it is a lesson learned from COVID that you can have a prolonged lockdown. So that is the easier solution which we have now. But the fact remains that we have the resources, the corporate has the resources to be able to support the police forces, to give them the confidence to be able to give them that security which is required for a country like ours, for a city like ours. I'll go to the city part first. We need to have what you call islands of excellence, wherein we who have the resources, which is basically the security guard who stands for us, the employees, and the finances which the corporate has at their disposal to be able to beef up the internal security. And the mindset which we have today in the corporate is that the security starts at the guard who stands out and it finishes there. When I joined Nokia about in 2007, the first opening which I had with the board members was that security is not those 25 people who are guarding your premises. It is every person who is sitting, who is wearing a Nokia badge is your security guy. I used to conduct security sessions for the employees, for the ladies, how to guard, how to protect themselves, how to work on those things. So from that time onwards, I said that basically the security team, which is the nucleus, which is us, who are basically from 90% would be from the security or the police backgrounds. We have that threat perception which is there, and we need to use our brains, and we need to use these resources which we have in terms of the security people to be inculcating the security mindset in all the employees who are there. So these are my initial thoughts, and as the discussion progresses, I'll dwell upon what all we can do to beef up the security. So over to you back.
Thank you, Shakti. Actually, you touched upon some very interesting issue that tickles most of our brains today. And as we all drove up, we saw the G20 security situation that has got created has disrupted our lives. So while G20 is a disruptor at the national level, at the international level, it also disrupts in a negative way our lives. And why does that happen? That happens because there are, very rightly brought out in one of the ads that I saw, people's, processes, technology. Those three have not yet come together. And when they come together, the disruption will not be negative, it will be positive only. So we hope to see a lot of good coming out of G20, but we have to make sure it doesn't disrupt our lives. So what are those various other threats? And I'll put that across to Amit. What are those various threats? Apart from physical security, let's go down to where your business lies, and that is cyber security. The moment we go into technology, we also open up our attack surfaces, our vulnerable surfaces, which goes into digital security. So what are the threats that you visualize in digital security, and how do you think we'll be able to handle it? Just put it in a crisp way, and then we'll see, apart from your opening remarks.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Major General Pavan Anand, for introducing me to the group. Thank you so much, Business World Security, for giving me this opportunity to be here on the panel. Thank you so much for Allied Digital, for which I work. It's a publicly listed company, and having strong technology background in remote infrastructure management, cyber security, cloud migration. We are also into smart cities and safe cities. So we are one of the top leaders in building safe cities. So thank you so much, Allied Digital, for giving me this opportunity. Now, from an opening comments perspective, as you rightly said, right, this is an honor where I am surrounded by all the military men, and as a normal person, it's an honor for me to share the stage with people like you. But with the earlier discussions, we've been talking more from a physical security perspective, and that reminds me of a story actually. Where for one of our customers, there was an interesting incident which happened. Suddenly from the printers, someone fired printouts from the HR's email address, and there were not so nice things written on those printouts. So, bad language, not so nice aspects. And the company started investigating what's happening, and everyone started thinking from a physical security perspective. They started checking that at what time the printouts came in. So they started checking the the CCTV cameras, who all were sitting during that time in the office, what was the movement, could they find any suspicious activities of a person who's trying to fire such wrong emails. They couldn't find anything. I mean, the investigation went on for a day or so, but eventually then the cyber security, the cyber aspect came into picture. The way it was happened was someone sitting at home logged into the company's infrastructure using a VPN, and then he just fired those particular emails, right? So in today's world, physical security is one aspect, but in a new age world, cyber security is the major aspect which one has to look into. If you see from a crime rate and crime amount of crime also, it is a it is a world phenomenon that the cyber crime has surpassed all other crimes together at a world level. And that is where cyber security becomes immense importance. Now, as my opening statement, we are talking about a secure nation. Right now, when we talk about nation, there are two aspects of nation: nation as an entity, and then people or organizations who make up the nation, right? So I actually bifurcate it as two different aspects of looking at a nation. Now, as a nation, as an entity, we have already started troubling the world. We have started launching, Chandrayaan. We have started launching, satellites left, right, center. ISRO is one of the most prominent organization. So the innovation is at the peak. At the same time, we have pioneered the whole concept of UPI, which no other country has done in the world. And that is again a remarkable innovation, which as a country we have done. So all other countries are, to be honest, I feel are unhappy with the way India is progressing. But with all of these progresses, we are generating a lot of content. We are generating a lot of data, which is extremely sensitive, and which, if someone gets hold of it, can actually have a national security, and a security which is more fatal than our border securities, to be honest, right? Because it is the core knowledge of our company, of our country. And that is where we have to protect some of those aspects from a security perspective. And then the other aspect is the organization. So I was so, it was so interesting to hear what Major Manjeet was saying, that as a completely non-techie person, he also had to adopt to the technology. So there are a lot of such companies who are adopting to technologies, which means, again, they are also creating a lot of data and, lot of loopholes for getting attacked by the bad guys.
Absolutely. So, like Major Manjeet mentioned that cyber and has made us probably more unsafe in many ways, and people think that security is more of a cost than something that improves our bottom lines. That paradigm has to change. So we are all aware that the colonial pipeline in the US had to pay up $4.4 million when they got hacked. And of course, the FBI got after the hackers, which happened to be from Russia, and 2.2 million came back. But when JBS had to pay 11 million, nothing came back. So in a way, protecting your bottom lines is what security does for you. So in that manner, is that awareness now come into the Indian corporate world where we are getting more digitized? Do you think that awareness level needs to be ramped up and people like us would be doing that? And what can we do to make that awareness come up faster?
That's a very interesting question. And again, I was talking to one of the CISOs of a very, very big organization, and it's a IT ES company, okay? And we were discussing about their security and how do we strengthen it. So one of his comment was, Amit, I have not been hacked until now. तो छोड़ो ना, क्यों पैसा खर्चा करना है? And that is the mindset all our organizations are still having, that I have not been hacked. I am not going to be in that visibility, right? So why do I need, because strengthening your cyber security is an expense at first, but in a long term, it's a major saving for you. So that's the mindset organizations have. Now, like it or not, unfortunately, the way India operates is with regulations and implementations of those regulations, right? The good step which Indian government has done is there are a couple of things which they have done. One is the data privacy regulation, which has got passed. But again, that is not applying to all the organizations. It is applying to organizations who are actually maintaining your personal data. So there are three aspects to the data privacy which is coming up. One is the protecting the public data which is there, then protecting the non-public data which is there, and third one is protecting the government data which is there. So these are the three main aspects on which the overall the bill is passed. So that is a good step which has happened. The second good step which has happened, and which happened actually last year, but still the implementation is not going that strong, and that is why people are still not taking it seriously. But Certain has come up with the guidelines where organizations, any organization having IT assets will have to follow certain norms if they are hacked. And again, there are multiple aspects. I may not go deeper into them, but the regulations are getting put in place. Now, I think the implementation has to be very, very strong, right? Like people, if they don't find a police on a signal, they are just going to break the signal.
Absolutely. So, now that the DPDP has come, I don't know, many of us may be aware, the penalty for data loss or personal data loss from your company, if your and my data is lost by a company which has our data, they may be liable for paying up to 250 crores. That can wipe out anybody out here. So with that kind of regulation which has come in, I think that awareness has to be spread, and its organizations and its meetings such as this, which help spread that awareness that you better go into the DPDP and better start implementing issues, which all of us do, to protect them. Otherwise, most companies will be in trouble. So that's one major point that we can take away from today. But let's come back to physical security over here. and you've been working on it at Nokia in a big way. The incident happens because intelligence doesn't get developed in the first place. There may be information all around us, but we haven't put it together. What are the means that you are adopting to ensure that before an incident happens, how do you through predictive analysis, come about to bring that intelligence and make it actionable?
I have this. I think it's working now. Okay. What do we do at Nokia? Of course, that is a trade secret. I can't share that with you. Okay. That was in the lighter vein. I think the question.
Or he'll have to kill me.
The question here is that what do we do as corporate security which enhances this internal security of India per se? That should be the question which I have in mind. And how do you do that? First, I'll just go back slightly into history. That is when you had this 26/11 attack on the Bombay, the Taj, and the general public. So that was a game changer for the physical security part. I divide the Indian security into two scenarios. One is the pre-26/11 and the next is the post-26/11. Like I also divide the Indian army strategy before 1962 and post-1962. 1962 was a wake-up call for the Indian army. As on the same lines, 26/11 was the wake-up call for the corporate security, the physical security part. But close to about 159 people lost their lives, and close to about 200 people were wounded in Bombay. About 31 people lost their lives in the hotel itself, and 29 odd were injured. But did we learn our lessons from there? When you look back 15 years back, I had just come to the corporate then. And in fact, we had 4 people who were stuck in the Taj Hotel. That night, I was in Bangalore, and my boss, Mahindra Karakoti, I think he's around here. He's one of the speakers here. He gave me a call. He says, Colonel Saab, 4 bande phase hue hain, kya kar sakte ho? I was taken aback because I didn't have the resources, and it was the first experience for me. Had I been in the uniform, had I been outside the Taj, I could have done something. But remotely, it was something which was more of a wishful thinking that one sitting in Bangalore could bail out people from there. But that left an impression on me. And the impression which I carry still is that till date, we are not prepared to be handling such a situation again. It was a wake-up call, which we did not take. Just imagine we're sitting here, 100 odd people sitting here, and you hear gunshots outside now. You saw the security when you came in, and this is the height of security which we are sitting here today. Because we have G20 around the corner. You saw the state of security. You walked in here, a general frisking happened, and you are sitting here. You could carry any arms, you could carry any bombs, you could do anything and a Bombay could be repeated here today. What is the reason why we still have the fait accompli? The reason is what people have been harping since yesterday. Is the mindset which we have, is the cost which is associated with it. We do not have a buy-in from the business people, the people who run the economies of our corporate world. They do not give us the budget to be working on these things, which actually, first of all, you secure your boundaries inside your corporate. Then you make sure that you have the resources to be able to support the security forces outside. Maybe somewhere down the line, when I am not there, or most of you, let's say 20 years down the line, people will start working on the collaboration between the corporate security and the security forces. The police will be seen as a friendly thing who require our support, and not the other way around. I remember an incident that was just deviating out from the topic is, I think it was early 80s, there were police riots in London, if somebody is aware of that. And what happened was that in the evening, there were a few teenagers who were playing hide and seek on the streets, and they saw a police vehicle coming in. And one of the kids, he went and opened what do you call these switch boxes on the sides, the power switch boxes which are on the roadside. He opened it and went inside and hid inside, and he got electrocuted and he died. People came onto the street saying that we do not want a police force which scares our children to death. So that is the mindset which we need here in India, that police has to be our friends, and there should be a positive support from us as the corporate guys to be supporting them in securing our premises and making the city secure and making the country secure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Shakti. In fact, the whole thing is about, it was brought out earlier about the human-machine interface or the man-technology interface, which is going to make us probably a lot more safer when it comes to our corporate entities. Now, we've just touched upon a physical security aspect, which gets dovetailed with technology, and this will be possible, or will bring together a predictive kind of a security paradigm, which is where we want to go. We at MIGS, we already have a data surfer, which keeps you constantly aware of OSINT around you and keeps processing that data and gives you a predictive kind of a situation which could be building up, right? So if in all our institutions we start having some sort of a predictive analysis, and we have the AI tools for it, as we've got with the MIGS, you'll suddenly find that not only do you have a more secure corporate entity, but you also have a more secure nation, because when all of us are in our own small sphere safe, the nation does become secure, at least internally. I was sitting in the DG ITBP's office the other day, who's a colleague of mine, and he keeps getting inputs on a few hourly basis directly from every PP, every patrolling point on the northern borders. So that's where we are today. And that's how we are at the extreme end of our borders, with the DG getting inputs here on almost a real-time basis. Why can't that happen in the corporate world as well? And that's what makes us secure on our borders and internally within our companies. We then become members of a security culture. And you won't see so many policemen on the street, because half of them would probably be private security people who look after all of that. And it's people like Amit and his company, which make us cyber secure. So cyberspace, the new paradigm of sovereignty, needs to be kept safe, because there are no borders in cyberspace, and we have to create those borders. We have to ring fence ourselves in cyberspace so that we have that. So these are just 2 or 3 paradigms that we could discuss today in the short time we have. The board already says time up, and we've crossed over by 2 to 3 minutes. But it would be interesting to take these discussions further, a little more in detail, when we all meet outside, and perhaps on another occasion when we can come down to the specifics of how making the nation secure doesn't finish at the borders, but actually comes right down to our companies and our homes. We look forward to discussing this probably another time. Thank you, Amit, and thank you, Shakti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And now is a keynote on the future dimensions of security, which is cybersecurity. And to deliver the same, please join me in welcoming on stage Rupal Sinha, President, BVG India. Everybody once a man, please.
hope, is it this, this is a keynote before lunch? Excellent. Good afternoon to everyone. I think we heard a lot on cybersecurity a while ago when, on the panel discussion, especially from Allied, Amit, thank you so much. You set the stage for cybersecurity. And yes, of course, today, I think, we spoke about pre and post 2611, we spoke about 1962 war, pre and post. I would say COVID pre and post, right? So I think after COVID and when we were going into COVID, there was a digital tsunami because we had to work from home. There was surge of, e-commerce, everything going on a digital platform, you're ordering on digital platform. There was definitely, an unprecedented surge in digital transformation, whether, BHIM applications like BHIM coming in together. We today are carrying more plastics than the papers in terms of our, the digital cash that we carry. What all these require in our setup, especially for private security companies or in our industry, that our security is now gone beyond facility. It extends to the home, security of data for people working either in a hybrid model or working completely from home or bringing their own devices. All these require a complete ring-fenced, cybersecurity practices in your own organization, in every organization, and definitely a world of opportunity for all the companies which are into risk management, which are coming from a hardware side, which are coming from an IT perspective side, which are coming from a technology perspective side. So all these are an immense opportunity where private security companies or risk management companies definitely have a role to play. A couple of statistics, just to make sure that people who really do not see this as the crime and the biggest crime of all the crimes. So I just want to read some statistics for you. According to Cybersecurity Venture Cybercrime Report, the global cost of cybercrime estimated at 10.5 trillion annually by 2025. Currently, we are at 6 trillion US dollar per year. That's the level of crime in cybersecurity which is happening. And these are all reported statistics. Phishing attacks, almost there are more than 200,000 plus phishing websites, dark web as we call it. We don't know whether our own, our organization websites are compromised or, someone is using our network, someone is using our identity to get into any kind of a crime or criminal activity. Ransoms. Criminal cyber attack ransoms have been highest after 2019. Again, I said post-COVID, and the rise has been close to 171%. Data breach, 1 in 36 mobile today are having high-risk applications. And 27% of Microsoft 365, as we say, users are the top targets for phishing incidents. Why, in terms of these attacks, why these attacks and who are these hackers and why they are hacking? 41% of these crimes are related to ransoms. 27% are insiders who do it. 26% we talk about geopolitical, companies are getting into each other attack. And 24% is whoever, wherever they are just attacking for their right or wrong reasons. This is where the global statistics stands today. India is the 6th largest data breach country in the world. Rising cyber crimes reported by National Crime Record Bureau says that there has been 63.5% increase in the cyber crime post-COVID. Financial fraud has been the highest according to RBI data. Couple of examples you must have had seen. The official website of one of the state machinery was hacked very recently. Parliament attack, again, a very highest example of where the compromise happened right from the technology, from the IT perspective, and of course, leading to, we all saw that. These statistics are definitely requiring us to understand why these attacks are happening and who are the targets. The target is individually us. How are we attacked? We are, or our kids in our own home, you would see in our neighborhood, cyber stalking, impersonation, we get impersonated, or anyone in our, these are crimes which are happening. Loss of our privacy, transmission of obscene materials, and digital harassments. I think digital harassments, I will be surprised if any one of you should stand up and say that they have not seen within their family, within their friends, within their extended ecosystem. Against property, unauthorized computer trespassing, you have seen that happening. People, computer vandalism, siphoning of funds from your credit card username, passwords are getting stolen. Against government, we have seen in terms of hacking websites, cyber extortion, cyber terrorism, and computer viruses leading to logic bombs and many viruses and email bombings which are happening. Why these attacks are happening today? These attacks are happening either inadvertently, they are happening. 27% of the data breaches are caused by human error. We don't know, we don't realize. And the crime gets committed. 87% of the employees leaving today, the jobs are taking the data. What are we doing with those things? 53% of the companies doesn't know there are thousands of the sensitive files are open for every employee. Do we know, do we have checks and balances of who the data needs to be owning, who needs to operate, and who needs to have the access? Do we have those checks and balances? 1 in 5 small business owners are up for attack. Of course, there are deliberate attempts to attack. We saw the political, economical, and social, cultural, and there are inaction. You don't do anything. I mean, in the last one, I heard that, someone said that I am safe and I have not been attacked, so I shouldn't do anything. So inactions are the first ones, I think, very prone to get a digital action any day or any time. These vulnerabilities, which are, you get an email with an attachment, 80% of the people who get a very tempted email have a habit of opening the attachments. What are we doing with all these types of crimes? There are misuse and compromised credentials, misconfigured devices, and leading to the threat perception going highest in the organization. Why do we fail? Because we are not training our staff. We are not identifying, protecting, detecting, and responding to such threats. We are not bringing the security endpoints, which is our people, which is technology, and which further goes up to the information technology. And we are not building a complete secured environment. How do we do that? So there are 3 modules in fact, that there are 3 major compartments in which the entire security architecture should be complemented. Confidentiality, right? The entire policy related to confidentiality. What are your data encryptions? What are the sensitive areas in which you will not authorize, your physical security guards would not authorize them to get inside? Your technology, whether it is an access control, you're protecting that to make sure those authorized or those sensitive areas are not breached. Integrity in a sense, integrity of not only the people who will be using that data or using those platforms, but integrity of the entire IT infrastructure needs to be protected so that there is no alteration or unauthorized manner of use of those data. And the lastly is who access those information. These 3 parameters, if they are secured, I mean, it's a very vast subject, but if these compartments are secured, I think we are more or less compliant as well as cybersecurity framework is concerned, there are a lot of ISO certifications that give you a guideline and checklist to get the security up and running, in a more defined fashion and in a more integrated way, where both CIOs and CSOs can coexist and plan the security of the entire organization. It's important to know our rights. It's a criminal offense. IT Act 2000, as well as Indian Penal Code. Apart from that, national security, cyber security policies, Indian Evidence Act, financial frauds, RBI, SEBI, they all come together. They are into bits and pieces, and we are evolving at the moment as far as cybercrime and their one central law is concerned. We have to go in bits and pieces in various other types of fraud to seek protection as far as cyber attacks or crimes are concerning at the moment. And that's where, the opportunity for security companies or security risk professionals come in the fashion of digital forensic experts. These digital forensic experts today, certify all the evidences that they gather during any kind of investigation, which goes as these certified reports get admissible into the court of law. So to that extent, we are doing it at BBG. We have very recently started our cybersecurity wing, where we offer these kinds of digital fraud, forensic fraud, writing reports. We have digitally certified hackers and who write these reports for not only assisting police, because today the police machinery is also suffering in writing the right FIR for a digital crime, right certification of which can be admissible into the court of law. We are evolving, as I say, challenges are there. As we say that while the law protects us, law also has challenges, because it's very difficult to prove into the court of law how and when these electronic evidences, and to track them in terms of date and time and data. That also is a challenge at the moment. Many a times it's an interpretation into the courtroom, whether it gets admissible or not, but it is evolving, and that is definitely a potential area for us to mature and create a line of business, going forward. In a sense, and we have seen many companies, and when we were looking at many participants, which today evening many people will be getting rewarded as well, a lot of people from a cybersecurity came forward in applying in applying in various categories when it comes to security technology. Very impressive, and many companies, I think, are already in the ecosystem offering cybersecurity assessments and audits, risk management and assessment. We already are doing that. Awareness and training, security architecturing of your entire gamut of the organization. And please, we are talking cybersecurity. We are not restricting this to be an information technology. We are talking a complete technology where a IoT platform not only integrates your access control, your fire alarms, your cameras, but they are also integrating varieties of the platforms, the various applications which are coming in these platforms, which then generate variety of AIs or variety of data that gives you a chance, that gives you an opportunity, and that gives you a command to take a right decision in a given situation or in the normal course of business, protecting people, process, and technology all in one in one bucket. So the area of cybersecurity is huge, and compliance and regulations are evolving. But from this podium and addressing all of you, if you are on a receiving side that you are supposed to set up an information technology or a full technology ring fencing of your own organization, please take cybersecurity very seriously. If you are an organization which is offering consulting into security, then this is definitely an area which is worth exploring and highest in demand at the moment. as I said, that digital landscape is fraught and is full of risk. And there are only two types of companies, let me tell you. Those who are already hacked and those who are going to be hacked. There are no, so one day or today or tomorrow, we will have in one or the fashion the attack. The best way is to be a preventive, have security training, define your entire security architecture, because, and I would like to conclude, as I said in one of my earlier address when I was doing on cybersecurity, that if you spend more on coffee than your IT security, you deserve to be hacked. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm so sorry I couldn't be here to attend to the nature, to be very honest with you. Moving ahead with our next panel discussion on the human element, role of training and awareness in physical security. Please join me in welcoming a panelist for the same, Harvinder Singh, Chapter Chairman. Oh, wow. What a designation that means. What a personality. Let's do it again. Harvinder Singh, Chapter Chairman, ACES International New Delhi Chapter. Naresh Singh, Global Security Manager, APAC, Hollister Incorporation. Garima Goswami, Co-founder and CEO, Dhruji Security International Private Limited. Rajneesh Sharma, VP, Strategic Operations and BD, Jaguar Security Services. And this session will be chaired by Dr. Shakti Chauhan, Country Head, Facility Management. 32 miles, Lieutenant Colonel Jadesh Joshi, CSO, Varun Beverages Limited. Yes, please welcome all of them, ladies and gentlemen, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know we've been put to the test. Knowingly, I think it is Mohit's skill. I'm told he's he just made sure that we put before lunch so that everyone is attending the session in a bit more senses. Yeah. So thank you so much, first of all, and thank you, Businessworld, for giving this opportunity. I am Dr. Shakti Chauhan, and I request all my co-panelists to please introduce themselves quickly.
Hello. I am Lieutenant Colonel Jiten Joshi, presently the CSO in Varun Beverages. I'm a retired Armored Corps officer.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. I'm Rajneesh Sharma, currently serving as Vice President Operations and Business Development for Jaguar Security Services. I have close to 2 decades of experience in private security and physical security. I have served over 20 years with G4S and handled some of the prestigious assignments like US Embassy, also handled the corporate structure, the entire strategic operations account, wherein I was handling almost 40% of the entire business of G4S there in India with all strategic customers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajneesh.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Harvinder Singh. Working with one of the IT company, Kendall Solutions. And also I'm serving as a chapter chairman of ASS New Delhi chapter. And I have 15 years of experience in physical security and investigations. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Arvinder.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Garama Goswami. I am the co-founder and CEO of Dridji Security International Private Limited. I have 20+ years of experience in all, and I have experience in both consulting and in the education field. We look at training and awareness we give priority to training and awareness, and I would like to thank BW World for this opportunity, and I have the privilege of being part of ACES Delhi chapter, which is chaired by Harvinder. Thank you.
Thank you, Garima.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Naresh Singh, and currently I'm working with a US healthcare company called Hollister Corporation. I bring 17 years of experience, started my career with Reliance, worked with Aeon, Vodafone, MTS, Sienna, and I'm responsible for regional security programs for APAC region. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naresh. So I think what we can see here is over 100 years of experience on the stage, not added mine, so it will become, I'm sure, 135. I'm sure the expectations have multiplied from all of us. But then I think we've been talking about technology, we've been talking about AI, the new digitization, what is happening in terms of how we are growing in security field. But then the one very basic point touched by Vikram sir is, irrespective of the growth we will have in different technologies, but I think the more we grow, there will be more recognition and more importance of the human skills, the human thinking, in terms of how we can just bring more humanity, compassion to whatever we are doing. So it's a very basic topic. If you literally ask me, security training and awareness in security industry has just become a presentation of 5-7 slides in terms of showing the kind of infrastructure every agency carries and what they do in whatever in terms of how do they address, how do they make them stand, and the kind of uniform they wear, Savdhan, Vishram, and I think that half an hour, 1 hour training. But if you literally ask me, it's much beyond that part when we are launching ourselves as an industry into the next era. And I'm sure, the kind of respect which has grown for this field after COVID has been really multifold. I've seen, and I'm sure you must have also seen, a security guard is checking the temperature of a MD who is one of these highest qualified MD in maybe in any industry, the guy who's in the queue and being checked by a security guard. I think, all this, we've really felt the importance of how we can just bring in that human factor into whatever we are doing. And I really can't have better panelists, and I'm sure, and the kind of diversity people add to it. I will definitely move quickly to every one of us here. And I'm not sure, maybe we would like to even have some of the questions in case something pops up in your mind after when we are done. So I'll start with Colonel Jitin, and very specific part in terms of what is changing in physical security and how is the training and awareness can help build further on it.
Well, to begin, I would like to say what is not changing in physical security. Like if we go not much back, say 20, 25 years back, what physical security was at that time and what it is today, we cannot even drop any parallel to that. Today, physical security has totally different dynamics. Requirements are totally different. As a client, the requirements are almost touching the moon. As a service provider, it is becoming that much more difficult to adapt to everyday changing technology and providing the service. Situational awareness has increased. The security guards earlier were just doing physical part of the security. Now they are expected to be absolutely well versed with technology, adapt to ever changing those SAP programs, MIS reports, and all that is expected from the client, from him. Technology and data are driving security today. Few years back, we could not even think of it. I would go to the extent of saying that physical security now needs cyber security. Because if you hack the data which is driving the physical security, then the security will fail. Now coming on to very specific. As a client, I am speaking. The security of any organization starts at the gate and finishes at the gate. Now, all the technological advancements which we are doing are being put on the gate. If you imagine any organization or any plant, then you will see that all the technology is focused on the gate. The cameras are there, the SAP systems are there, the feeding systems are there. And as a backup, you are doing not only what you used to do 10, 15 years back, but also doing double entry. You're making the same entries in the registers still and making same entries in the electronic media. Still, we are in that phase of evolving from paper technology to digital technology. The faith has not yet come in. So here comes training. We have to train our guards to be, digital friendly. We have to allow them the time to get trained for that. And for that, hardly anybody is prepared. As a client, I am not prepared to give time to my security guard because his every minute is very, very precious to me. And to a service provider, I don't know how he can modify his training so that most of the training can be done on the job. Again, on the job training means it is hampering as a client my operations. So whether I am ready to do that as a client and as a service provider, if the service provider is ready to take out that time, are decision dilemmas. So training will be the key. And that what our Bhishma Pitama was saying, that the time, if you can adhere to the Pasara Act, if you can modify the Pasara Act, and then ensure that all the service providers are adhering to the Pasara Act and giving that 20 days of training, which is 100 hours of training in the boardroom and 60 hours of training on field, and then deploying that person is going to be of paramount importance. Because as technology advances, as we have more accountability of that particular one soldier on ground, this training will hold him in good state. And this is where we have to focus as an industry.
I can see the sincerity where the answer is coming from, and people are so gung-ho about talking, such a closed subject. So I'll take some input from a service provider as well. How, and also just bring in some differential factor. What are these training and awareness capabilities can be different, and how can you make an impact as a service provider? So basic mundane understanding we definitely don't want to hear, because with the 25 plus, how you feel that as a service provider you can bring in that change and be different.
Thank you so much. And just trying to bring out the perspective of the service provider, as rightly said. See, with training, and what sir has rightly just pointed out, that training is, yes, the customer is looking for training. The service provider is also pushed with the help of KPIs and SLAs for a training. And with I would say with training, it basically helps us to lower the operation cost, and basically helps us to address one of the key issues, like attrition of forces on ground. And with attrition, I would say, in the entire cost structure that we offer, this is, I would say, the most important element right now, with manpower. Because with attrition, you have uniform issues coming up. You have, once again, retraining imparting the retraining to the employees would also come up. Logistical cost would come up. And moreover, if you have an untrained guard on site, you will have issues with SLAs and KPIs, leading to deductions, penalties, and also I would say that the invoices getting stuck, and you have issues with the customer. So all those aspects are there. And I personally believe, and as a service provider, if I really want to make sure that I provide a quality service with my customer, I have to make sure my guards are trained. Because as he has rightly pointed out, that they are the face of the entire security setup. They are part of the security posture. They are the first one to meet, greet, and act for a customer and for an agency. I am sitting at my office. I don't know the things on ground. They are the ones who are standing at the post. They have to be trained. And I would say that it has to be a total partnership. See, Pasara has given us guidelines. It has given us framework. But what needs to be there on ground is a partnership between the customer as well as the service partners, so that we go hand in hand. I am sorry to say, that is currently not the situation which is there, and that is where we are. He says that he doesn't have time or bandwidth to stand on ground and do the on-job training. And with Corona coming in, so many aspects of training were highlighted. But I would clearly say that I personally believe that so much of focus is currently not on training. We must have that focus on training, because the trained resources are your best resources who will deliver on ground. We put so much of money on our infrastructure, but I think it's the trained resource that counts the most.
Okay, so it's definitely not the quantity, but definitely the quality part. I had a very specific question. I was saying is that with the training capabilities, how can you be a different service provider? I think it was 23 or 30,000 service provider. We have almost 30,000 service provider. And then, sir spoke about, the rating program. And then, when you introspect, you feel that where do you stand in terms of what you're delivering, and why are you going as taking the services of any organization? why would someone believe you that you are different? So maybe 1 or 2 points on that, Rajesh, I wish to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that actually stands between one organization and the other organization is your force that you have on ground. And to make it a unique selling point for your own organization, you need to have the best resources on ground, and your best resources are your best trained resources on ground.
Okay.
There's nothing apart from that, because these are the guys who will be delivering on ground. They have to stand apart, and hence training is something which is very, very important for this entire piece to happen.
Okay. So I think the one takeaway surely for is that it's not a ready-made solution which someone will deliver to your organization. We are all in it together, and that's what I think is expected. I move to Harvinder. Harvinder, as per you, what is this mental fitness preparation? Do you give your team for these kind of crisis management, especially when they really need to act, with their mind?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because we always focus on the training all the time. But point is this, the training has to be modified. Like here, many people have given a different kind of examples, like the training modules before 2611 and after 2611, before 1962 and after 1962. So accordingly, we have to be more these kind of training programs as per the requirement. So for an example, if I give you from my organization only, like people used to do that. I'm taking a very small example of fire drill that every company do annually or sometimes twice in a year. So everybody mostly follow the same pattern, like just for the fulfilling the requirement to fulfill the compliances. That is the only major reason for doing such kind of trainings. So every time they are the same timing and same day kind of things. But myself only made a kind of change in my company only, that any kind of emergency can come anytime without telling you. So we have to prepare for that time. So we made changes in that training. So instead of conducting drill, we started conducting drill in the night time.
Okay.
Right? Like there were 4 emergency exits. So all of a sudden we closed 1 emergency exits. Then how those employees will take another exit. So these kind of changes always prepare your employees, your stakeholders all the time, and in these kind of situations. So I feel, first of all, we have to make them ready for these kind of situations, like a resilience training, like in any kind of situation, how to address if any situation occurred. As one of colleagues speaker took an example of this hall only, if any mishappens here, how people will react. So I think everybody has to be ready for these kind of situations. Over to you.
So readiness is fine, Harvinder. What I'm possibly expecting from you as an expert is, and let people know is, as a leader, how can you have an absolute peaceful night's sleep when even there is an emergency at your place? Is there any specific technique you implement?
So like I just
I mean to say, they should not even come to you. They should manage everything. It is their ownership.
Yeah, I just mentioned like resilience training. Okay. We need to focus on that only. When we are in the training room, we have to tell how to deal with these kind of situations, and that comes under only the resilience training. Instead of people get so much tensed when there is a real-time situation is there. Absolutely. They are very good in the training session, but when the real-time situation comes, absolutely, how to address. So resilience is the main part of the trainings.
And I think one takeaway is that as a leader, we must make sure that we are missing out of the chain at least once in a year. You are not reachable for at least 2 weeks or something. Your phone is not reachable. Believe in your team to deliver what has been trained to. And I now basically come to a very interesting aspect of training, which is about mental toughness, the psychological safety. I think this is a very, very critical point, especially people doing 10-hour, 12-hour duty, just standing without major activities, and it becomes a bit boring, and absolutely ineffectiveness seeps into people who are doing their duties. So I take this point to Garima, understanding maybe her view in terms of what are being done in terms of creating psychological safety for these workforces.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll take this question into 2 parts. Firstly, I'll explain what psychological safety is. Then I'll talk about how trust training and awareness helps in creating a safe platform, and also what training should be mandatory for employees so to ensure that they are